3:33, 15:33, tree, 15:33. A little bit of meeps in our life. Where are you? Meeps, meeps, meeps. Meep, 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 meeps. Huh. Dude, I just saw the number 44. Meeps' subs. And I was thinking about you, Alexander. Kissy, kissy. Oceans of happiness, oceans apart, moving in circles away from the dark, and nobody knows that light inside your eyes. But when I look at you now, what do I see? I have to let the whole song play. I tell myself that I don't know. When I saw you tonight, I couldn't believe my eyes. Remember the time when the world was on fire, caught in the rapids, it quenched your desire. Look at you now, racing those rapids on high. But when you look at me now, what do you see? Will you tell me your dreams, Michelle? 'Cause all that I'm knowing is you walk alone in the light. This is my last waltz, my last dance, my last walk with you. And I must remember the little things about you. About you, Michelle. The little things about you, Michelle. My glasses. Alexander, our hard work is being seen. I hope so. Fuck balls. Oh my god. Okay, I'm just gonna set my screen up. Yeah, it's funny because I saw that Meeps. Oh, I want to share Meeps' vid. Get the channel found. I saw that he was up to 44 subs. Meeps voluntarily took his channel down and restarted another one, right? There was no outside forces. He chose to do that himself.
And he's at 44 subs. So when I saw the number 44, I thought about you. And Alexander the Ganja Shaman, your first one in. So right on, dude. You heard the call. Wahaha. Hey, Genevieve, blessings. Happy full moon. Setting intentions. Yeah. And as I was stirring, I call it stirring, shuffling. Every day I'm shuffling. Actually, not every day, but as I was shuffling the cards, stirring them, I was thinking about the mirror card because it is a full moon, the setting of intentions, and really, truly, taking that deep dive and looking at our own selves in the mirror. And I personally think mirror work is very important. It's health. It's one of the reasons that I can live stream or do videos and have zero inhibitions on camera, right? So I show up on camera and it's as if I'm looking at my own self right through myself. I don't see me, right? I just, I'm there. Um, it's the mirror work that I did for years before that I started my YouTube channel that made it that when I did start it, that I was able to do it full frontal as well, right? I don't get distracted by my own face or think about the package. I just go all in. This being said, first card up is number 32. 3 and 2 is 5. The mirror card. Michael Jackson. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. It's important. You as well. Alexander says, cool. I've been seeing a lot of 4s yesterday and today. 444 and 44. Me too. My 44s, my 144s, or, whatever number in front or behind are amped up. And 369 is really amped up. I would say it's been a good 2 weeks now. 1111 and 144, big time as well. Alexander, seeing 4 a lot is like the angel seeing your hard work. Keep moving forward and you will be rewarded. Our hard work is being seen. I feel that. I hope so, right? Hope. Boom. I hope so. Hey, Hope Baron. Baron. I hope I'm saying it right. Welcome in. 444. Yes, I saw the 44.4 miles at 444. Oh, roar. That's even more amplified, eh, Hope? Welcome in. No, Hope. Hope is my daughter's third name, Lily Rose Soleil. Hope. So that's in her name. And I have Hope tattooed right here on my arm as well. Faith, hope, and charity. Where are you in the world, Hope, if that's okay to ask? Just wondering. I also saw 1444 on the treadmill. Oh my gosh, that's funny. I don't actually do treadmills because I just don't do that. But I have in the past. I've actually done the thing where I forgot I was on the treadmill and then I went flying because it was like, oh, I forgot that it was going to keep moving. And I have yesterday on Instagram, I had a pop-up of some dude I've never watched before, and he was imitating certain people, like mimicking certain people and how they are at the gym. And at one point, the last little imitation that he did was the adjuster, the one that's always like picking at their like stuff. And I was like, yup, that would have been me. Right? Picking at my, like, oh, that's too tight, or oh, that's not comfortable. The adjuster, he called it. I was like, yeah, that's me. Is that how you found me? Roar. I was flipping through Soulology. I have trouble saying that word, and I saw you and I loved your vibe. Roar, thank you so much. I knew I saw the name somewhere in the past, but I wasn't sure where. You're in Minnesota? Yay! As the crow flies, I think Minnesota is only about 12 to 15 hours. Minnesota? Yes, it's Minnesota, not Minnesota. I'm going to blue you. We don't really need moderators around here. On the stream, like, kind of just flows itself. But by being blue, you can press on everybody else's channels to find other people that you might resonate with, right? So as you're watching me you can find other people if you so choose. As well, if you want to shout out or share anything, go ahead, right? Welcome, welcome. Alexander says, hi, Hope Aaron. That's awesome with the fours, meaning you're on the right track. You're being guided by your angels. Rawr, I love it. Hey, Kelly. Kelly Ryan O'Brien, Michigan, here. Welcome, Hope. Yes, always welcome, Hope. Let's get a faith. Let's get a faith in here. Hope, I've always wanted to be a moderator. Aw. When I started doing live streams, I never put anybody like with the wrench or as blue or as a moderator. And then what happened is that the ability to find channels easily started to be stripped. So it was like everybody everybody becomes blue at some point. Really, for me to not blue somebody on the spot within like 5 minutes of them choosing to comment, because I think that if anybody chooses to comment, that's already like, whoa, right? You've shown up, you're ready to participate, even if it's not every time or all the time. So why not make it easier to find other channels? I find that when I go into live streams and that there's not a moderator sharing out other channels, or if I'm not able to press on somebody's channel and find them, then I can't find people the same way, right? The stream of us and how we find each other through whatever we choose to watch. And so, sometimes people will be in a live stream, they choose to chat, but then they don't comment after on the stream, so it can take time to be able to find each other. And that's the advantage of having been able to be, on Soology last week, because it feels like it was forever ago, but it was just last week. It was last Monday, I think. It was March 1st. So yeah, a week ago today. And I've found so many. Yes, it's my birthday day. It's not really my birthday, but the 7th. I'm January 7th. So within a week of having been in Todd's live stream, I've gathered more tribe. I've found more people. Either, you guys found me, or I was able to find other people. Was that what the sound was? Yeah. It's so windy right now. No, I mean on my thing. Oh! Shift balls. Yeah. I forget what I was saying. My daughter Lily distracted me. Yes, so by being in the live stream, I've been able to find other people, or they found me. I love it. I think so as well. I feel that's the new way. Everyone is a king or queen. Yeah. And again, I believe that we're on the internet to find each other. It's not about just listening to people. It's about participating. And we can't be found if we're making it harder for each other to find each other, right? The easier it is to connect and find new people with varying opinions, different life backgrounds, different stories, it makes us stronger. I totally believe that spiritually we need to go within, but I don't grow the same way by going within. I expand through finding people and the syncs and the flow and the synchronicities, the serendipity of, saying certain things, and then boom, somebody else is like a mirror, right? A reflection of myself. That's how I'm growing and blooming, right? So there's only so much inner work you can do alone. If you're so isolated that there's never anybody kind of questioning what you say or giving their own opinion, right? Then how do we bloom and grow? You can think you've done all the inner work, but then as soon as there's a reflection of anyone, you're triggered all the time, right? So really the inner work, you can only test it and see if you've surpassed certain triggers or certain patterns and programs by jumping in and meeting other people. Alexander, YouTube changed the system in the past. You could have clicked on the channel without being a mod. Exactly. Now only the mod can do it. Yeah, Alexander. That's why when it started to be like that, and it, if I'm doing a live stream and, you all are coming in, I don't have time to sit there and punch in you guys' channels, right? It's so much simpler when everybody can just bounce around finding each other. And especially with me, I'll live stream and I can live stream for hours at a time. So as I'm streaming, if you're able to go find other people, that's beneficial for you guys, right? Anyways, let's get some cards going. If anybody specifically wants a card, please just let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to do just random card pulls, whatever I feel guided. So if you have questions and you want answers to those questions, or if there's certain things you're pondering of, what's next for you, listen for the syncs and flow of what could be the messages for you. And the only difference between when I choose a deck, I get guided to it. When someone asks me for a card, I will get guided to a different deck. So that's why it's fun when somebody specifically asks for a card, because my instinct isn't my own anymore. It's going for, someone else. I don't know if that makes sense, but hey. How was your all sleep last night or today? With that full moon energy. Personally, the last 2 days before full moon, I didn't sleep a lot and sporadically and woke up a lot. And then last night, I slept straight through to from 1 a.m. No, from around 12 to exactly 6:20. And then I stayed up for about an hour. I made a coffee, and after I was done my coffee, my toes were cold because I was going outside for a cigarette. So I was like, I'm just going to kind of cuddle the cat and just go back to bed just to lay down, just to warm my toes and not make any noise so Lily can sleep. And I ended up falling asleep till 11:11. I'm going to do this card first, Alex, because I was already in the flow of it. And then I will grab you a card for the month period coming up. You are very welcome. So this is card number 30, TikTok. The pocket watch. And funny synchronicity, I have a part. There's a lot of stuff in it. I'm going to take it out. I have a part of a pocket watch that I found at the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, in Cape Breton. And I was looking at it as I started my stream. I keep little synchronicities and little stuff inside of it. But I was looking at it as I started the stream earlier. I've always wanted a pocket watch just for myself, not even just to tell, not even for the time per se, but just for the feeling of it. But I've never had one. I don't know why I choose to say that, but because I have seen pretty, really beautiful pocket watches at thrift stores, and I just choose never to buy one, even if I want one, because I don't want one enough that I need it. Sometimes just having that, ooh, pocket watches are pretty, is enough. Anyways, TikTok, timelessness, divine timing, immeasurable time. When humans, that's important, when humans created time, everything changed and contracted. People have come to look at life in a linear way, imagining that the past is behind them and that the future is ahead of them. But what if that is not true at all? What if everything, creativity, beauty, chaos, and order were happening now in a glorious timelessness? You have all the time in the world to co-create the life you desire, so release your agenda. Anybody else feeling like this full moon energy is completely stripping them of routine, the agenda, the planning, and bringing up new flow? Let go of your need to shape each moment to your expectations, knowing that what is yours will never be withheld from you. Miracles are right here, right now, and they always show up when you need them, right on time. Love, the fulfillment of desire, and even the body's reproductive cycles have their own timetable. Some things are preordained and they cannot be coerced. Everything has its season. It's divine and appropriate timing, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. Remember, you will always have enough time for love. The time to find it, to nurture it, to give it, and to receive it. The clock is eternal, and it ticks according to the beating of your heart. In perfect rhythm. Isn't that wonderful to know that love is always right on time? And last but not least, the protection message. Have you been feeling as if the clock is ticking and gotten a little nervous that your dreams are taking so long to manifest? There is nothing to fear. You will not run out of time for the most important of things. The miracles that are yours and yours alone cannot be missed. You're in capable hands with guides and angels hovering in invisible spaces, ensuring that your journey will be filled with all sorts of goodies. Roar. Let your anxiety be gently dispelled by faith. I said earlier, we got hope, maybe we'll get faith. And within the first card, right? Let your anxiety be gently dispelled by your faith. Spirit will never deny your highest good. It's yours in divine, appropriate timing, so relax. And this card resonates with me because a couple days ago, I forget, it wasn't yesterday, it was the day before. I forget what time it hit me, but out of the blue, I just started to have like a crippling anxiety of like, I don't know how to do any of the fucking stuff I'm supposed to or being guided to do, and feeling like overwhelmed by time and thinking like, if I can't do this by this time or this by this time, then I'm screwed. I'm going to have to spend the whole summer here. And it was just like everything in front of me felt like I literally told Annie, getting to Mars feels like it would be easier than being here and having to do certain things a certain way. And I let all those feelings, and I really looked at them for what they were. And then ever since, like in the last 24 hours, like all those feelings are gone. And yeah, it was really overwhelming. And just like I said, it hit out of the blue of, I don't have enough time. Right? Time. And then like Annie was like, let it go. Like, stop thinking and just take care of yourself. Stop thinking. We were talking about the 4 earlier. It says there's 4 people in the chat. I can't help but mention that. Yeah, Alexander says maybe Faye is also going to show up. Maybe. I'm calling internally to those that, you know what I mean, either regularly or show up when they can. This is what I'm going to grab for you, Alex. This is one of the decks that I have that is one of my newest decks. The Oracle Starseed. The Starseed Oracle. Rebecca Campbell and Danielle Noel. So it's one of my most recent purchases, and I say that, and it's been at least, 5 to 6 months. I haven't been guided towards cards. Actually, 5 to 6 months. I'm probably going too far beyond. I haven't bought cards since before Christmas, and I can't remember which one was the last deck, but this one is 5 to 6 months old. But I don't tend to grab it. Right? I don't tend to grab it every stream all the time. Like this one seems to be one of my go-tos that I need to grab at least one every stream right now. Anyways, so this is what I'm guided for you, Alexander. Ooh, that's a thick one, eh, Hope? I was clearing organized religion last week. Very awful. For myself, I was born and raised Roman Catholic, but although I went to all Catholic schools in my life, Catholic high school, I was never immersed a certain way. I didn't believe certain things, even as a child. They couldn't be programmed or bombarded into me. I had a certain belief system that was infallible. Like, it didn't matter. Didn't matter how much trouble I got myself into, or didn't matter who or what I was questioning. So that was easy or for me to separate from than somebody who, we moved a lot as well, so I was never rooted in one church. I got to experience churches and, priests and nuns all across Canada. And I never I never partook of activities that were church based. When my mom would say, "Do you want to be in this Bible reading thing, or I'm putting you in this Bible group or this thing?" I would say, "No, I'm not going." So a part of my youth was protected by my higher self, because even if my mom or somebody wanted me to be doing something, I wouldn't go. I would not go. You know what I mean? I wouldn't go. So I saw a part of Christianity that felt good, and then I never was immersed in anything. Plus, I had awesome experiences. My father's cousin became a priest when I was early teens, or like just before I was a teenager. So I got to experience like going to his ordination, meeting like different priests that were his friends, and I only saw and felt a good background. I've been to a lot of nunneries as a child, because convents, yeah, is that what they are in English? Because my grandmother had sisters that were nuns. So I got to experience being in certain convents in Quebec, around Quebec City, or smaller ones in like little communities. So I got to run around, right? My mom and dad would be visiting, and I'd just get bored of, like, to be honest, the old aunt that didn't care, right? I was little. And so me and my sister, we got to run around, and you know what I mean? There's some doors I can remember not going, even if I could have. It was just like creepy. No, we're not going in there type of energy. But yeah, anyways, I've rambled a lot. I'm not sure who needs that or what that's going to bring up as sinks or flow for anyone else, but oh, this one feels really powerful, Alex. Oh. 7 Star Sisters, Birthing Creations, Tapestry of Life, Expressions. 7 Star Sisters, triple S's. Feels powerful as well, Alexander, because first of all, you've been part of my journey. I would say it's been 2.5 years. Well over 2, but not quite 3. And you've always manifested to be walking hand in hand with the feminine, Alex. And by walking hand in hand with the feminine is that, some of us feminine who have channels, or might not have a channel, but are, showing up in other people's live streams and commenting and talking, we've been through the ringer with some masculines in the background of, I'm going to say it straight up, being sexualized, being hit on in ways that's like, what the fuck, right? Like, just basically like the replay of the Matrix, but within a spiritually woke community. I've said this before, and I stand by this. I'm 51 years old. In the last 4 years of my life, after starting my YouTube channel, which is eclectic, I'm not a spiritual channel per se, but I manifest to gather all sorts of tribe vibes. I've never in my, all my life experienced certain things until I was in, a woke community, right? How some masculine portray themselves as this, that, and then how they actually are in the background didn't match up. But you've always matched up. The frequency of who you are when you live stream, when you're with Matrix Man, when you've paneled with other people, matches who you are in the background, Alexander. I feel it's really important to shout out, because not everybody's personality matches once they're not on the screen anymore. It's completely sometimes the opposite, right? That's it. Oh, I already took the book out. Bonjour, Jeanette. Hey, sweetie. Yay! Welcome, Jeanette, guys. She comes from Soology too. And Jeanette, I can't help it. I have to pronounce your name with the French. Jeanette, but Jeanette Davis, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Hey everyone, first time catching you live. Yeah, I was actually thinking about you, wondering if you'd ever come in because we found each other through the comments, right? You're in Australia, if I remember correctly, right? Okay, I'm just going to catch up to reading the card, being in the flow of it, and then I'll catch up to the comments, guys. The Seven Sisters. Where is the Seven Sisters? The Seven Sisters is on page 100. That stands out. Like, boom, right straight on like an even, right? 100. Seven Star Sisters, Birth and Creations, Tapestry of Life and Expressions. There are new creations that want to be born. This is so important. I feel like I've been saying this for years, meaning I've been saying for years that this is the year, this is the month, this is the time that people are going to gather and there's going to be more co-creating happening. So at some point it's going to happen, right? But 2023 seems to be like that. All these other years was about the internal work, the finding people and building solid foundations, so that in 2023 it's like, okay, we've been building solid foundations for years now, and there's going to be the momentum of people moving, people merging together, people gathering. Sometimes people won't be able to gather maybe this year, but virtually online, co-creating things together. I see you guys coming in. I'm just going to flow the card as it reads, and then I'm going to catch up to the chat. There are new creations that want to be born. There's beauty that's yearning to be woven. New consciousness that's longing to be breathed into life. If you draw this card, you're being called to surrender to the creations, to usher in a new era of consciousness, and to do your bit in weaving the web of life. This is the card of the artist and the midwife. You're being called to ponder some questions. What wants to be birthed through you? What new creations are whispering in your ear? What beauty are you being called to make? Oh, this gives me shivers. I hope it makes some people like shiverlicious as well and start to really like manifest this, right? Creativity and intuition come from the same sacred place. They occur when we find ourselves flowing with the rest of life. Earth is renowned as the planet of manifestation and creativity, and yet so many have forgotten how to create. Somewhere along the way, we stopped seeing ourselves as artists, as creatives, and as poets. Yet to be human, oh my gosh, my shivers have shivers, guys. Yet to be human is to be creative. Creativity is a part of our true nature. Perhaps you're being called to surrender to a creative project such as a new business or a book. Or perhaps you're being called to weave beauty in your home or in the way you cook. Whoa, I even said to Kelly earlier, Kelly Ryan O'Brien, that I have a desire to put my energy into cooking, that even if sometimes the raw ingredients that I'm, buying either lack flavor or, just whatever, that putting my own magic into, and the thing that I'm craving to make right now is soup, which, I don't know, soup is so fun because you can do anything with anything and manifest a soup. So that stands out because that's what I've been doing the last few days, is really making sure that I'm creating through my cooking. This being said, I'm a chef by trade, self-taught, and I've worked restaurants, from bottom to all the way to the top. done everything that's possible to ever do in a restaurant, from, dishes and all the way up to the being owner, being the manager, right? Being in charge of everything. So I can tend to sometimes say I'm a retired chef and get bored of cooking, and spring, my natural just rawr of cooking is there right now. Um, this being said, cooking for two is a whole other level when you're used to cooking for, multiple people. And it's only been a couple years since my other daughter exited, she's not in our reality living with us or close to us, so that, the sharing isn't there right now, right? The other day, I think 2 weeks ago, I made enough food that if 10 people would have showed up at the door, there was enough food for 10 people. And it was like, oh shit, on some level, what have I done? Right? Not everything was freezable. But the desire to cook and cook a lot is there right now for me. Anyways, regardless of the end result, you're being called to express yourself through your creativity. Exactly. Don't always judge it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't even always have to finish. But starting many creative projects is better than starting none at all, right? Surrender to the creative projects, especially the ones that scare you and that excite you, to find a way to weave beauty back into your everyday life. There's always creativity, spirit, and soul. The world needs those qualities more than ever before. Boom. I resonate with that. The world needs right now that we focus on our stuff, share it the best ways that we can, the littlest things, right? And enjoy that. It's really beautiful that we all have, ideas, perspectives, and opinions. But at this point, sharing things that are creative amplifies the collective vibe more than the opinions. So I'm going to give you an example. Somebody sharing with me what they do, what their craft is, what they've, found at the thrift store, is more beneficial to me right now than somebody talking about certain things that it's like, I don't want to hear about that stuff right now. I'd rather see and feel creative. Mike, oh my gosh, you're going to make me cry, dude. Thanks for being here. Everybody, welcome Mike in, please. I always remember, no matter what, dude, me and Mike started our channels on the same day, right? January 1920, I was going to say 2019. We've been together a long time, Mike. 1920. Maybe we knew each other in the 1920s. Yeah. Roar. Thanks for coming in. You just made my heart sing. Yeah. And you know what, Mike? Your story about Mike and about Matt and Abby is still one of my go-tos. And the other day I was thinking about it and I was like, I haven't shared it yet this year. I tend to share it once or twice a year, always. That story is one of the stories that if I'm like feeling like yucky, I always go back to that story inside of me, and then I'll re-go watch it and share it. For real, dude. For real. Roar. I'm so happy you guys are all here. Welcome in, welcome in. I'm going to catch up to the chat to where I was. So, yeah. Whew. Okay. Alexander, the Starseed Oracle. It's a cool deck. Yeah, it is. It's one of the reasons as well that I'm choosing to not binge it and use it all the time. I only grab it when I'm truly, truly guided. Hope. Well, I needed to be up in my eyeballs in all kind of religion, but then I got shown the truth and I understand the purpose, but many energies I have cleared. It was very dense. Yeah, it is. And the denseness comes from the layers of the intergenerational, right? Jeanette, I'm going to blue you so that you belong and be part of the crew. You guys can choose to like press on other people's channels and find other channels. Alexander, 7 sisters. Interesting. Seems it's Pleiades. Time is flying. Yes, I don't have a mask, just raw me. Yeah. Gratitude for that, Alex. Seriously. When you're just naturally what you are, it's just how you are, right, Alexander? But the gratitude for the reflection of a masculine that supports the feminine without the yucky shit. That's it, you know? That's it. Forgive them. They know not what they do. I get that. But when it comes to, you know, people who talk about certain perspectives and awarenesses and then that's not what they embody in the background after, it sucks, right? It sucks. That's it. Hi, Indigo Rose. Happy Toesday, sweetie. Jeanette says, well, thank you for welcoming me, Genevieve. You're welcome. Bundaberg, Queensland. Hey, everybody, and I love how you say my name. Good. I'm glad. Jeanette. It's so just Quebec French to have a name like that. So it just feels, right? Gives me that energy, even if you're not from there. Mike in Florida. Hi, sweetie. How's it going, Tammy? Thanks for showing up as Mike in Florida. It gives me shivers and makes me think of Mike. Gunnar, c'est la vie. You are a chef. Chief, you're leading towards truth and a better future. Aren't we all, dude? Aren't we all? Alexander, you have a lot of projects in mind? Good, dude. Follow the flow. You'll know what to do when it's time. Trust yourself. Heidi, Organic Intelligence 313. I started the stream at 333, 1533 exactly. You're welcome, Mike. I mean it. I mean it, dude. What a strange, short, yet forever ago that 4 years feels like sometimes. Mike, I'm glad that it helps so much. Yeah, it's an anchor. It's an anchor in my storms. And I do have a belief that it's us that's the event and the solar wave and the love wave. So when certain souls come together, it changes, and it's going to change the ripple effect of the collective forever. In that way of, you guys, I've only ever seen the first Matrix for real, front to back. And that's the thing about the first Matrix. Like, we all take our messages and what stands out for us in different ways, right? But one of the things that I took from the Matrix, the first Matrix, was Neo was found by Trinity and the others. Neo was told by others that he was important. He had training, he had an oracle, he had all these things happen. But it isn't until the end of the movie when Trinity said, I love you, that boom, everything truly came online. So although he had his gifts and abilities, they needed to be merged, right? He needed, not because he wasn't complete and not because he was like, you know, whatever, but boom, the coming together of the knowing of that. This being said, I have no idea what happened in the other Matrixes, right? I didn't watch them. But the message of, it doesn't matter how much we go within. It doesn't matter how much other people see something in us or we even see something in ourselves. When we merge with a certain other soul, how? Boom, that's it. And within my life path, the generations of my life type of thing, I'm 51. So every 10 years, if I look back from, you know, a higher perspective, every, you know, embodiment of who I was in my life path did have certain people or person that, because that person or people were in my life, I was able to be who I was in those timelines. Does that make sense? So, because I had who I had in my life, made it that I was able to manifest certain parts. I was able to open up certain parts of myself and then manifest certain things within my life. That's not to say that, you know what I mean? It wasn't necessarily like because it wasn't because it was codependency. It was because there was an inner dependency. And I can see how, the last years of my life, very isolated without certain support, just how the less, right? There needs more. Anyways. How was your sleep time the last 72 hours? Organic intelligence? Just wondering. Roar. I'm glad you're here, Jeanette. Thank everybody for coming in. I love it when new people come in because it's like, we're finding each other. Alexander, thanks for the reading. It does resonate. Good, dude. Renegade Musings. Hey, my love tribe. Just catching you in passing. Okay, you gotta go. You're not gonna be in for long. I get it. I wish you a beautiful day. Super windy here. They're saying the gusts are 60 kilometers an hour, but sometimes it feels like, is it really? It feels like more. Yeah, I just feeling guided to stream. I haven't streamed in like 2 or 3 days. Organic says 313. 333 and 4 is showing up. Same. A lot of amplified 4s as well. Mike, I agree because we all live in a participatory universe and multiverse. Exactly. We are one. What helps one helps all. What hurts one hurts all. That's where that's real to me, right? Renegade. I woke up to minus 22 Celsius and now it's a beautiful +1. Roar. This is spring for you, eh? You gotta go now, Mike. Signing off. Thank you, Genevieve, for this live chat. Roar. You're so welcome. Nanu. Have a super blessed day and come back whenever you can. And even if you're not here, you're here in spirit, dude. Whee! Gunnar, you're right. We're all supposed to rise up. Some people cleared the way, and some people remembered earlier that they're good friends with the clouds. Yeah, I feel like I've been at the ballpark for years, jumping up and down on the bleachers, ready to play, right? I'm ready. And I'm like at the ballpark, and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna go back to my little stuff, and then I'll go back and start jumping on the bleachers and be ready. You know what I mean? I swear, sometimes it's just like, I see younger me when I was 17 and 18, seeing future me now. And it's like the gap in between of 30 years. Boom, there she is. Alexander kind of called you in earlier. He said, I wonder if Faye will show up. And I was like, we'll see. I'm kind of clarion calling. Whee! What time is it? How long did that take? I was about maybe 10 minutes in. So it took 30 minutes-ish. I love it. Yeah, I feel like I've just been... I feel as well, like if I didn't have so much fucking content and I went back to certain live streams or back to certain videos, I feel like I've been repeating certain things for 4 years. Well, I know I have. I feel like, holy shit, like the stuff that I thought was going to happen in 2019 still hasn't come into fruition. And then in 2020, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, whoa, right? I feel very ahead of my time for what I think for myself and others. And then the gap in between. This being said, humans, we invented time, and, you know, that's us. One of the things sometimes I ponder, I get very angry at myself, to be honest. It's like, damn, if I would have known, I would have maybe taken other timelines. And then the other part of me is like, no, you wouldn't have. And it's like, no, I wouldn't have, but I just, like, I consciously chose not to take certain timelines. But now looking back, would I have taken them? No. But I don't know. I wish that part of me had thought that it's going to take a long time instead of it's done, it's already there, and then it never is. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, there's definitely some of us who we know that we're good friends with the clouds. For sure, Gunnar. I was listening to somebody earlier and it was like, oh God, just get off that channel, because what I find right now is that we're in and out of fear. Certain people are in and out of fear because of the programs of movies and books. So we've been so programmed to believe that anything from the sky is going to come and invade us, instead of like, no, everything in the sky is actually helping us. Only humans have free will and choose to use it to hurt other people. Multidimensional beings do not. I don't even like the word aliens, because alien implies like yucky shit, right? People are so imprinted that, fuck, we can have all the evidence in the world right now that it's, you know, not coming from exterior forces. It's the elite. It's certain timelines that are human or not, whatever. We're being helped and guided by anything, you know, from elsewhere. But I guess everybody has to go through their disposing of their own programming in their own time. Organic. I slept well finally after 2 weeks. Prior to the last 3 days, I woke up at 4:44 a.m. 3 days in a row. Yup. I don't necessarily check the time all the time because, whatever, right? But yeah, I've been awake between 3 and 5 almost all the time for over a month and a half. So having a full like night in a row of sleep last night was like, whoa, right? Same, Heidi says, but you know, I always feel it days before others. Same. And the other day when I was kind of going, like feeling very anxiety, I was even writing it out to Annie. I'm just waiting right now. Somebody somewhere is going to put up some sort of energy report and there's excessive seismic activity happening. Like, I knew it, right? And then finally Paul had put up something at the end of the day, and I was like, there it is. You know, I didn't even need to know where and what the numbers are. You as well, Renegade, having a very antsy day yesterday. Mine was the day before and followed into yesterday. That's why I stayed quiet a little bit, you know what I mean, yesterday. And yeah, the antsiness of Mama Gaia is restructuring in the last 48 hours is huge. How's everything going, Kismet? Heidi, I actually took my first nap in a couple days ago. I've been sleeping a lot, guys, a lot. If I'm not sleeping at night, I'm sleeping whenever, if my body says lay down, I'm doing it. You know what I mean? So accumulated how much I'm sleeping is a lot. Not in a row, though. Organic says, Faye, there you are. I was calling you in my mind. Kismet says, I had to finish sweeping. Yeah. Are you like me sometimes where you're like, I know you guys are there somewhere. I'm not sure who's streaming or what video or what it is. I know you guys are there, but I got to finish this first. Gunnar c'est la vie. You're an ancient soul. You know things before they happen. There's advantages, but it can be frustrating. Yeah, exactly. The ancient soul. I've been here since before time, right? So before, way before humans created time, and the seeing, how I see, and but the thing is that we always do have the potential timeline for certain things. So although there is the divine timing, we've had the potential of certain, timelines collectively. It's right there always, right? It's people choosing as well too. I feel that a lot of people just are enjoying. They're enjoying this last part. So the voyeurism, the judging, the throwing out opinions, the wanting to blame and shame still. I find that people, like many, are still, they're just enjoying that part, right? So it's just like, I don't get it. But it's the same way, it's the same as, like, let's say when I was in high school and then certain people were choosing certain timelines, and it's like, why are you doing this? Like, what is it about it? And they needed those timelines, and it was like, I didn't need those. I didn't do certain things or need certain attention or to go through certain things. My soul didn't need that shit. You know what I mean? Kismet, I could feel y'all. Good. Kismet, we can play with dolls as long as we need to until we don't anymore, is how I define idolizing. Well, you just defined why certain things don't work for me. I never enjoyed playing with dolls. Ever. Ever. I was a caregiver and took care of other people, like, my little sister or little cousins or other people's children, like a real mother, like a real caregiver, but I never enjoyed playing with dolls. Ever. Ever. That's it. Right? I shared something earlier. I forget what his name is. Will Wheaton, I guess it is, the dude from Stand By Me. And it was like, boom, I knew it. It might have taken him like 30, 40 years to come out with it, but I knew this is how he was when he was little. Like, he was saying, like, the interview I shared is basically him saying that he didn't want to be in movies. He was made to by his parents. And that the reason that Stand By Me was so poignant for all of us is because it was basically the truth in plain sight, right? He was able to channel certain emotions and be an amazing actor for that movie. And same with River Phoenix type of thing, because that's what they went through. So they were still in their childhood going through exactly what the movie was about. And it was like, yeah, I knew it even when I watched it the first time. I remember watching it and thinking, like, if the character of Chris is who dies, does this mean River Phoenix is gonna die? And then when he died, like, I don't know how many years later, it was like, fuck. I knew it. I knew he was gonna be the one. Right? It's just, that's why that movie was so powerful for us all. They weren't acting. It was the truth of how they were already manipulated into being what they didn't even want to be as children, right? Groomed, I guess is the word. Jeanette says, I've been only sleeping 5 to 6 hours for the past week and staying at home. Same, we're very homebody-esque. We're not guided to go out and about very often, but when we are, it's usually amazing. There's a lot of flows and syncs. It feels good. But sometimes, like even earlier, I was like, should we be going out and doing something? Is there somewhere I'm guided to go? And it was like, nope, just stay home, right? Just stay home. Heidi, you felt the anxiety too? Same. I was reading like somebody's energy report yesterday, and she was speaking about how the light body needs less food. And I was like, oh man, I fucking hate when people say that instead of just saying trust yourself of what your body needs. Because I ate 3 meals yesterday, 3 full meals. That's a lot for me, right? Not just 1 meal and a couple snacks and something here and there. 3 full meals. I need food right now to not feel the right outside stuff, to be able to be grounded and anchored here. No meat, zip. In the last, I don't know, it's been 2 days now, 0 meat. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I've even shared some stuff just to inspire, right? You got some tomatoes in your fridge, throw that stuff with some, throw that stuff in the oven with some olive oil and some onions and stuff, and then whip it up into a soup or something. But I need food. And it stands out. Yesterday, 3 full meals. And, you know what I mean? I need food. Everybody's different. Follow what's best for you. Yes, I understand that when we are at a certain embodiment, we need less food, we need the fasting, etc. But you can't know unless you're there. So sometimes I find that when I read these things, it's just like, oh my God. As well, somebody said, like, stay away from processed food. And it's like, you don't get it. If you are if you are at a place in your life where you can afford and nothing that you have is processed, then holy shit, you are so fucking blessed that you don't even realize it anymore. Some of the most spiritually in tune people that I know right now in my virtual reality are homeless or this close to it. We can't all afford, certain things. We definitely can't afford just organic ingredients. So putting that out there all the fucking time of certain things, there's some people right now I know who are like sustaining on ramen, but they are at the embodiment of doing the inner work, being of the light. They're sharing more and caring more than other people who say I'm this or I am that, right? So I always use the movie Hook, right? The scene where Peter shows up, he's with the Lost Boys, there's nothing on the table, and they're saying there's food. But then when Peter starts to believe in the food appears, because our belief in the food and what we can afford, what we actually have, right, is more important right now. It's the same as when people speak about, having certain types of water. Guess what? Some of us can't lug our water. We don't have a fucking vehicle, and we're using tap water. We're blessing it. We're just, leaving it out for distilling purposes, and whether that's working or not, it's the best that we can do, right? So there's like, sometimes I find in the spiritual community, there's an us and them. There's the them who's here, and then they speak from a certain perspective, and they don't understand that somebody doesn't have a fully functioning fucking home. They don't have a support system. There's nobody giving them anything to help them out, but they're still very, you know what I mean? The whole us and them of like, eat this, do that, when it's like, why don't you like start like asking the question in your videos or in your, who is actually safe right now, who actually has everything they need? Because if people actually took the time to witness the reality of this fucking collective reality right now, instead of saying, oh, I'm not aware of what's going on in this country or that country, I'm not aware because I turn away. Yeah, you've turned away from it so fucking much that you don't even realize that the people you're actually speaking to, it's not because we're all in abundance wounds and we can't manifest the perfect home and the perfect fucking life. We're boots on the ground and actually living a reality that is real, not padded and away from every fucking thing that's actually real. Right? Like, oh. Anyways, I'm going to leave that at that. I see there's a lot of chatting going on, so I'm going to catch up. Kismet, gee, weird question. And for all, were you drawn to Cassiopeia as a child? I don't know because I can't remember who that is. So maybe? I don't know. One thing about me is that I don't tend to either remember by heart certain archetype stories, and I only use them very randomly, right? And I can't remember. So if you jog my memory, Organic says I don't know what Cassiopeia is. I know what it is, but I can't remember. And if you give me a little bit of information, then I'll be able to know which timeline of my life that I ever had any focus on. Oh, shitballs. Heidi, my mom has a heart monitor on. She has to wear it 2 weeks and it gets off it next Monday. She's been having anxiety and heart stuff. Yeah, I remember too, how, um, looking back at my life, all of my heart chakra openings up until a certain timeline, and even now to a certain point, felt like a panic attack, right? So, on some level, that's a really good sign because her heart is in activation mode, but having the machine there to make sure she doesn't fall into fear, right? Or keep that fear level. Kismet says, same, G. I had many gifted to me and I cared for them and my younger siblings and cousins in the same way. I was always a mother figure as a child. And now, childish as often as possible. Same. Same. Ah, Gooner, I unite. My toy soldiers get married with nice Barbie dolls because they deserve it. Rar. That's awesome, Gooner. Heidi says, I like Barbies to get with G.I. Joe. I would tell Ken to go. Yeah, definitely. Ken, ugh. Exactly, Kismet. Thank you so much. That's beautifully written. Light body might not need food, but the earth body definitely needs fuel. Exactly. And again, I resonate with everything that people say. I'm not saying, like, right? Go out and get all processed food because it doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is that not everybody's at that same point. So the more that anybody's imprinting that that's what you need, that brings shame. It brings a shame of I can't do this for myself. Right? I can't do this for myself or my child, my family. I'm not there yet financially. Like if you saw the price of fucking food everywhere, right? And you are aware of that, then be careful of what you put out as what people need to do for themselves. You know what I mean? It's just, and at some point, it is some sort of form of programming people to believe that if they can't eat a certain thing, they're not going to ascend or it's going to be harder for them. When some of us that actually follow what our body says that it needs, not what other people say, are at the right place at the right time for our synchronicities and flow, right? Going to grab the bag of chips when you don't even want chips, but your body's all of a sudden craving them, puts you in a timeline. And people tend to forget that wherever we go, there's an imprint of our light body, our light being that we are, that's imprinting certain buildings. So if you have a judgment towards fast food and you don't even you don't go anywhere into any type of thing that's a certain, you know what I mean? Ew, fast food, I would never go there. Then first of all, it's a judgment. Second of all, if you can't even run into the bathroom or grab a bottle of water, but you're being guided, who's going to bring the light to certain ley lines if there's a judgment about it? That's it. You know what I mean? Organic. I like G.I. Joe's safari outfit. Ken was a snob. Yeah. Kismet, or medicine, like a cat needs gasoline coolant, human body needs too. Renegade Musing says, I don't define myself light body and earth body. I'm just me. And I enjoy when I'm hungry and I enjoy when I eat less. But that does not make one more enlightened or spiritual. Boom. Exactly. Exactly. Not at all. In fact, sometimes the more people speak through a certain perspective, it's like, can you guys see that there's like judgment everywhere here? Can you guys see that this person is still not over their childhood wounds of being chubby? Right? Many people who fast and who share openly that they fast and who would, teach other people about fasting, it's a wound. That's embedded. They still haven't overcome that they're scared they're going to gain weight. Right? So I have had the blessing of certain people who have opened up to me and said, yeah, I fast and I believe in it, but ultimately it's because I'm scared I'm going to gain weight. For real. You know what I mean? They might not be openly making a video and a live stream and talking about it, but they've told me that that's their biggest fear, is that they're going to gain weight. They still have a judgment towards people who have weight, and they don't want to be that for themselves. So, Jeanette, I'm going to take my 91-year-old grandparents out to lunch tomorrow at the beach, and I'm looking forward to spending the day with my grandma and my pop. Roar, that's magically beautiful. Have fun. Kismet, I marry my energy body to the earth body. They are one and I care for both. Exactly. I resonate with that too. Yeah, Organic says beach day sounds magnificent. Kismet says yes. To say we can't places a guilt which keeps us attached. Is exactly. That's it. It's the same with okay, so you're vegan. Does that mean you can't go to a restaurant, choose from the vegan option, but watch somebody eat what they want? Or should we be embarrassed or feel like we can't eat what we are craving in the moment because we're with somebody who doesn't eat the same thing? Because personally, I've stopped eating meat before and everybody around me kept on going. I didn't get you know what I mean? That's it. I don't get to pick and choose for other people, right? We're in a certain paradigm. We are here to enjoy it. Certain things exist that might not exist from, a new world, a different paradigm. Why not enjoy it now? There's more beauty and power to eating things that exist than to say or think bad things about them. That's my perspective. Exactly, Renegade. What we believe about a thing, especially food, we make it so by the very belief. Exactly. Kismet, the now has always provided what I need without fear or harm. I don't understand what that means. You've never been in a situation where you look inside your fridge and you got to wait for another week and you don't have exactly what you need. You've never had to tell your kids when you were a single mom or when you were in between that no, we can't do this right now or participate in any of this for like days or weeks or even a full year of your children's life because everything was always provided a certain way. Because I've learned, I've had a lot of lack in the last certain amount of years of my life, and it was to make sure that I was sharing more after when things came into my reality, realizing to what point what it is for other people. Because if I have a certain amount of lack and I've never been homeless, holy fuck, somebody else who has been, they're brave to just even try to keep on going, right? Seriously. Jeanette, thanks for sharing that, sweetie. It's so important that we, you know what I mean? Yeah. We are just getting by, and most of our friends are couch surfing or camping in our yard. Thank you, sweetie, for sharing that. Because within the paradigm that I'm aware of, I didn't get the time. Because some people did, right? They manifested, they got the timeline. They're meant to be there. It's not a bad thing, or it's not that they're better. It's just they're not meant to be aware of certain things the way that we are, right? Some people speak from a perspective that they'll never have a clue of how many people lost their home, lost everything secure within the last 3 years of the COVID timeline, right? It's one thing to like recognize, ooh, food is so expensive, but have the money for it is, it's fine, right? You're gonna end up, right? How many people, I know people who make like over hundreds of thousands of dollars as salary. They're still shopping at thrift shops. They're not thinking, oh, I have to leave this for people who make less money. They believe, don't matter if they make $500,000 a year or more with a partner, they believe they're justified in going to a thrift shop and buying things and finding things that are less expensive instead of thinking, like, holy shit, with the salary I make, maybe I shouldn't go to fucking Florida, spend my fucking money on shit, and leave the thrift stuff alone for other people, right? But that's not how people think. It's like bargains, right? Ooh, we went to a thrift shop and we found this at this price. But meanwhile, 2 days later, they're telling you that they're going to Africa on a safari. And they think that's normal, all right? Some people are telling other people, just get a job, just go work. You're going to be able, as if you're going to be able to buy a house or afford to rent a house by yourself just by having a job. And that's not even how the reality is working right now. You know what I mean? Renee, I'm very grateful for the fact that I have food and a roof over my head. It doesn't have to be perfect. Organic and Jeanette both say same. Same. Renee says, but to me it is perfect enough. Yeah. For us, a year and a half ago, we lived next door in another building. The owner of that building owned this building. And all of a sudden in December, he sold the other building and we had to move here. And at first I was very angry at the universe because I was like, what the fuck? You told me change was coming and now we're moving 20 steps away? Like, I want to be moving across Canada. I want to be moving somewhere else, not 20 steps away. But oh my God, it was the biggest blessing ever because that building next door, the hot water never got hot enough. I boiled water to take a bath so that it would be hot, and I hardly ever took a shower because I couldn't, it was too fucking cold. I ain't Wim Hof. That other building was older windows and it wasn't brick. So any sound outside or any wind, everything was fucking shaking and rattling. That other building, the heat didn't turn up a lot and it was very vast. So it was a very wide and vast apartment, but heating it, we couldn't crank up the heat more. And so, yeah, at first I was very angry at the universe. It's like, you know, got to move 20 steps away. Like, what the fuck? But moving 20 steps away put us into a whole other paradigm. The building is brick. We don't hear certain things. The windows are newer. Nothing's rattling. The heat cranks up on a dime. I want to be wearing shorts in like 20 minutes. I can do that. The hot water is so hot, I have to be careful not to burn myself. So, you know, Spirit took us from 20 feet, but put us into like, whoa. The apartment's a lot more smaller, very compact. So again, it's very easy to heat. It feels more intimate, right? We had so much room in the other one, and it was a hardwood floor in the kitchen that Lily would like grab her little penny board and skate, like, you know, use it in the kitchen. But we don't need that big, right? So this being divinely detoured right next door was like a godsend because we've been warm and cozy And it's sometimes it's not big, but it's a whole other world. What the change is, right? Kismet. I asked about Cassiope because I had a memory spark today from it. Renegade musings. I'm trailer trash, but that's fine. Rawr. I prefer a little trailer than a bag. You know what I mean? For real. Hope Barron says, I think some of us got our homework done early and are just waiting around to live the new earth first. I'm sorry to anybody coming in. I will catch up. I'm just not caught up with the chat. Yeah, you just reminded me of a scene from high school where even if we finished an exam, we weren't allowed to leave. We had to stay for an hour and a half, and we were done the exam, and we just had to sit there. And I remember thinking, like, this is ridiculous. If I'm done, if I've already rechecked everything, why am I still sitting here? And how surreal that felt, right? You're supposed to take it's supposed to take this amount of time, so you have to sit there. Oh. Gunnar, my Ken was very well educated. He was going to church. Yeah, Kismet says Cassiope is a constellation in the northern sky. Yeah. I don't tend to remember the names of the constellations very often, Kismet, or anybody else listening. And I've actually had arguments with someone specific in my past about this because he was so angry that I wouldn't memorize certain things. And I was like, why? Why? Some dude made up the name. Why do I have to memorize it and remember that because somebody else made up a name? What if the stars could speak and they would tell you that's not our real name? Some dick made that up in 1800s and now y'all are calling it, right? Why do I have to label something a name because everybody else does? And it's the same with birds. Sometimes I'll say, look at the bird, but it's an eagle. And then I'll say, look at the bird, but it's a seagull. But other people have a judgment, right? They call seagulls shithawks. Oh, why would you think a seagull is beautiful? They shit all over the place, right? Yeah, they're abundant. They're right in front of you. But you want the eagle because it's more regal to you, because there's more, you know what I mean? Bird is bird. Humans named up birds. And then within the hierarchy of what birds' names are, people either love them more or love them less. Right? The name right off just will bring an imprint. I'll say vulture, and somebody will be like, raw, I love vultures, I'm a vulture person. And other people are like, ew, those things are gross. So it's the same with the constellations and stuff. I've never been a memorizer, and you know what I mean? I never have. Kismet, in Clash of the Titans, she was the mother that boasted about her daughter, and her daughter, Andromeda, was sacrificed. Yeah, Heidi says I've heard of it, but I forget. Sounds familiar. Yeah. Hope says, heck yeah. Send love to those potato chips. I do. Definitely. I really do believe, Hope, that, you know, we're in a certain paradigm. Certain things exist, and everything in moderation. That's it. It's good for us. Kismet, yeah. I'm asking around because that's legit. All I remember about it, but the word came through spirit today. I remember that the constellation at the planetarium that I felt drawn to magnetized the most. Okay, Cassiope, kaleidoscope. I dreamed of the word kaleidoscope. I think it's been 3 or 4 days. Cassiope, kaleidoscope, almost the same. What? No, it was like 3 or 4 nights ago. It came through as Cassiopeia. Renee, I still eat meat. Same. When guided, what I feel like, and it's, like I'll tell people like I'm eating a hamburger and they imagine this big patty like in a like that people buy at restaurants or people certain servings, and it's like, nah, bruh. It's right? Like there's not excess. There's just a certain amount, and I need it and I crave it and I want it. And that's it. Renegade, but I have a sacred awareness about it. Yeah. Hi, Ism. Kismet, I feel for me, thank the animal and creation for providing the animal if you must eat meat. I will if I'm a guest somewhere or if it avoids conflict. I won't eat it if I'm not hungry for it. I don't care where I am, and it can be, I don't care. I won't eat it if I'm not hungry for it. I have to be able to eat it, right? Conflict doesn't, I'll walk away from anybody. I don't care who it is. You know what I mean? I'll walk out of a fucking restaurant. I'll walk out of anywhere. I don't care. I have to want it. I'll eat everything but that, right? Gotta go? Your kiddo's calling? Okay. Have a good evening. Jeanette says, thanks, Schooner. We are fortunate. 5 generations on this earth at the present time. Yeah, sweetie, that's awesome. Kismet, I have had days like that, and I changed the perspective, G. I was grateful for the little we had and kept it growing. Organic says, I just got $10 off coupon for my Pooch's food. Needed this. Rar, good for you, sweetie. Hey, Trace B. How's everything going, sweetie? Renee says, exactly, Kismet Cat Newman. That's my approach now. Deep gratitude for the animal offering itself for my nourishment. And Kismet says, there's Trace. She's been on my mind and heart. Same for you, Ism. Gunnar, good number. Impressive star family. Soul luminous, loving, divine, righteous values. Jeanette says Australia's in a bad way. It's not the lucky country for so many of us. We're fortunate to have a home. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate that. I appreciate that you take the time to write it out, right? Definitely. Ha! You were getting ready to go, and boom, it was in the mail. Perfect timing. Heidi, that's so cool. Hey, TWP Popcorn, what's poppin'? Not so much. No way. Hey, y'all, I just finished my first ever recipe video. It took a minute. Made a green smoothie and I recorded it here. Roar, me will check it out later. Organic says waters. That sounds delicious. Really? Kismet, I'm still waiting to discover why the universe moved us here. I'm not used to it. It's uncomfortable. Damn, I wish you were still here. I don't understand what that means. I can't question because she's not here anymore. Renegade Musings. One thing about living in Canada's tundra, you tend to become very grateful for the common bird. Yup. Exactly. For real, eh? Yeah. I've lived. Yeah, I've lived and I've traveled. So even though sometimes my memory bank of being little, but I've traveled as an adult. And then it's just like, I can see myself in certain parts of Canada, and it's like, where's the beaver? Where's this? Where's that? And it's like, well, we don't really have those here, right? And it's like, what? Kismet, yeah, I felt anger towards the story behind Cassiope. I felt it was wrong, but I don't know how to explain it. When I learned about the school about the constellation, yeah, personally, the whole gods and goddesses stuff and we are gods and goddesses is like, what? I don't want to be one of those. They had no clue what they were doing. They turned other people to stone. They cheated on each other. Why would we ever want to be a god or a goddess? Right? From that point of view, I believe the whole archetype god and goddesses is basically the first soap operas of all time. Right? The imprinting of certain things just doesn't fly with me a certain way. Not at all. Roar, Heidi says I'm going to watch that video and I'll watch it later when I'm ready to get the ingredients as well. Make it here. Heidi says I couldn't finish watching it because I'm going to go get a smoothie now. Hey, Kelly. Kelly. Trace B. Yeah, that's been the last 48 hours, and today doesn't feel like that right now. Trace B, I feel a little frazzled earlier on a whirlwind at the moment. Just a little bit back and forth, travel plans. This mission, I am very hyper-focused, the power move. Like today, you mean? Or in general this week? I'm going to move around a bit. I've been on for 91 minutes, which is an hour and a half, if I remember. And I need to move. I actually got to pee, too. So, you know, body calls. Renegade Musings. I have to get to the farm and check the horses. Have a great afternoon, all. You as well. Enjoy the horse energy. Trace, I'm under pressure with the timing of the final move to Texas. I feel amazing about it. Rawr. Good. Enjoy. Enjoy the pressure feeling part. I know that might sound weird, Trace, but ask for help, right? Sometimes it's like, is there something you can delegate somewhere? We forget sometimes, right? So busy doing everything alone, or there's already a team helping you maybe, but you might need one more. Or you might need, that little extra nap, even if it's like a half an hour, to be able to thrive from it, eh, sweetie? Sometimes we feel like I can't even take a break, and it's like, yeah. Even little cat naps help so much. Enjoy. Yeah. The finality. There's a lot of bittersweetness too, eh, Therese? It's beautiful to be moving on, but it's also bittersweet leaving the land behind, right? That feeling of the littlest things that aren't going to be there the same way. And whether you visit or pass through, it's never ever going to be the way that it was before. It's huge. Baby, July 4th. Roar. Thank you. Whoa. Shivers. I'm not aware of the timeline of mine. It's complete silence within my family right now, and I'm not projecting myself in there to protect myself, right? Hey, Michigander. How's it going? Is it windy for you too, Michigander? We got huge winds right now. Double Michigan energy today, Kelly. Damn, you stepped in and now I'm hungry. I'm hungry again. I've been so hungry the last couple days. It's crazy. It's beautiful. Roar, good. It's beautiful for us as well. Just very, 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 very gusty, windy. That type of day where I actually warned my 2 people that I connect with that if ever I go incognito for a bit, it's because of the power, and that no matter what, everything's okay. We got everything we need and everything's fine. Trace, thanks for talking with me. Roar, loves you. I'm so proud of you, sweetie. All of us want certain changes, but when it comes time and the change is actually happening, it's huge. Heidi, you hungry too? I am. I'm so hungry. I probably won't stream for super much longer. I made a cabbage, rice, tomato-y type of soup, and there's like a ton, like there's a lot for 2 people, but I feel like I'm gonna be grabbing another bowl sooner than later. That's how hungry I am. Yes, Trace, it's big. It is, because it's ley line work, grid work as well, right? It's so multi-dimensional. And those of us who do our ley line grid work through the self, and it's not, we're not talking about it, we don't share it, and, we're just doing it. Whew, it's big, sweetie. It's big. Rawr, that sounds yummy. Creamy wild rice soup? Good. Okay, good. So you have taken the break time? I've sat and smoked for 3 days now, the breaks. Good. That's important. Lion. Be generous of spirit. 37. 3 and 7 is 10. A healthy ego means you ease God's order instead of edging God out. Lion Spirit message is a reminder that you have been given a healthy sense of pride and your worth to express your divine, authentic self in a unique way. You are both the king and the queen, secure in your prosperity and wisdom, and generous of spirit as you help others. Take pride in your ability to serve from the heart. Contentment with what you have right now allows you to use your resources wisely as you give to others in ways that educate, heal, inspire, and delight. Be excuse me. Be proud yet humble. Practice gratitude, and you will find that the accolades that come to you are no match for the joy of knowing that you have been able to do for others through expressing the bounty of generosity within you. Lion Spirit knows there's a great savannah before you and many who will benefit from the healthy expression of your unique set of gifts if you choose to work in partnership with Spirit. All your relationships flourish as you express your worth and generosity of spirit with humility and kindness. I might color my hair pink, Trace. Have you ever before? Roar. Pink lady. I see pink everywhere. Yesterday I took a picture of the moon. A picture of the moon, and the first one came up as pink. So this is the second shot. I think I shared them in my community post, but this is how the first shot came out. I didn't doctor it or put a filter. And this is how my eyes were seeing the pinkness. And it stood out that my camera captured that pink haze without me intending it to. Oh, my glasses are driving me bonkers. So is my hair. Observer, card 49. I'm not sure I've ever seen this card, guys. I'm pretty sure I've never seen this card. Observer, 49. Perspective, objectivity, neutral observation from a distance. And although that's probably a fox in the picture, it reminds me of a coyote. Most people see the world through a personal lens, and then they closely identify with their feelings and experiences, so much so that they come to believe that this is the only reality. There are times when you need to distance in order to gain perspective and understand your circumstances from a more neutral vantage point. Now is one of those times in your life. This is a perfect moment for you to begin to do some exploring. Instead of only considering yourself, consider what you need to understand about conditions, people, culture, and environment you're engaged with now. You'll be happy you did. Illumination is the miracle you seek and will indeed find. This is something I was talking about earlier in the live stream. Well, some of us didn't get to distance ourselves from the collective reality of what's going on around us, right? That's it. We didn't get the timeline of turn away from everything. We're right in the middle of it. But by being right in the middle of it, whoa, the perspectives. I can't help but see the divide within the spiritual community of us and them. There's people who consider others as clients and as people who need them versus we're all in this together. There's people who speak from a perspective of be authentic, but as soon as we're authentic with them, we're told that we are not, that we're of ego or that we're projecting. But it's like, damn, I see through the bullshit of what you're fucking like hiding or layering and acting as if it doesn't match. The craters, Trace? It was magical. Magical full moon energy last night. I slept so much, Trace. I shocked my own damn self. Slept from like 12-ish to 6:20, and then from around, I don't know, maybe 8 to 11:11. Which usually when it's full moon, I can be wide awake and not sleep for like hours and hours. So it's been pretty cool, the flipping of the script of that. Relationship message. Sometimes you just can't see the forest for the trees in your way. Feelings get all jumbled up, and often you hear one thing when a person is actually saying another. It can be like an echo of the unresolved past dubbed over your conversation. Take time out before you react. It's likely that the other person has no idea how his or her words have affected you. Take a few steps back and lend understanding to the situation. Have faith in your connection and trust that you can overcome together. Take to higher ground now. Cultivate curiosity about what you observe in yourself, in others, and in the landscape. And you will find things much improved sooner than you know. And the protection message. Do you ever think sometimes your life options are suction cupped to your face and you can't see beyond yourself? There's a big world out there and a multitude of potential realities that you're unable to perceive at present. So you're a little stuck? It's time to get advice from someone you trust, someone who has a better perspective on your circumstances. Other points of view are needed now. Before you move forward, take heart. A beautiful vista is waiting for you to drink it in. You just need a little help widening your scope beyond your small self. Raw, I resonate with that. Aw, that's beautiful, Jeanette. I had crows crowing as you were talking about the spiritual community. Roar, I love when I'm listening to a live stream or a video and the nature heightens things up. I love it. There was a timeline where I was listening to James True, and the second he would ever talk about a helicopter, whether it was because there was one in his reality or just because he was bringing the subject up for some reason, then boom, there was a helicopter in my reality. It was amazing. The flow, right? Like, live two completely different worlds, like, I don't know how many miles apart, but whenever he'd have a helicopter in his reality or talk about one, then boom, it was within seconds that I would have one as well. That's the way that I am too. If I'm in a live stream and nothing, Nigel! Woo! There you are, dude! Yay! I was hoping you'd come in someday. Oh my gosh, welcome. Sorry guys, I get so excited. I'm so happy to have found so many different people through being on Todd's live stream the other day. Plus, Nigel, you stood out to me like weeks ago, right? Weeks ago you said something about, I forget what day it was, but you're a day ahead because you're in Australia as well. And I said, what's the song of the day? And you said, don't worry, be happy. And I was like, okay, that'll be the song of the day. So I listened to it the next day. Great to catch you live. Yes, thanks for coming in. I forget what I was saying. It's Wednesday morning for you? Yeah, it's Tuesday. I don't even know what time it is anymore. 17:24 Eastern Time. My battery's at 55. Yeah, what I was saying is if I'm watching a video or if I'm listening to a live stream and there's nothing in my reality that connects with that, then I usually will realize that I'm not in the right place. And what I mean by that is if I'm watching a video that's 3 minutes long and there's no syncs or flow, do I really need to watch it front to back? Is it meant for me? So the example of the helicopter earlier is one example, but when I enter a live stream and somebody's saying the exact same word of either what I just said out loud to Lily or what I just looked at or what what will happen is I'll be writing something down. Excuse me, guys. My throat chakra is getting all like excited. I don't know how to press on mute. I'll be writing something down and then whoever's live streaming will say that one of the words that I just wrote, and it's like, okay, like I'm at the right place at the right time, right? There has to be a sync and a flow somewhere. It's important. Jeanette, you stood out to me in Todd's live stream when I saw your name, right? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Trace, yes. That thump, the heartbeat of the helicopter. Yeah. For myself, in this lifetime, and obviously in past lifetimes, I don't have like past life or this life of bad or traumatic things with helicopters. For me, a helicopter is a metal dragon. For me, a helicopter is good. Does that mean all helicopters do good things? Do they have all good things that they carry? No. But in general, my imprint in this lifetime is positive, is pure. Helicopters across Canada where I've lived tend to be search and rescue or medical, right? To get somebody, because I'm very rural, right? I come from living in the middle of nowhere. Helicopters are very important to our reality because they are what saves somebody's life by bringing them somewhere, right? By the helicopter being able to come get someone and transfer them to Toronto or Montreal has saved people's lives in my reality. As well, I've been in helicopters twice in my life, once in my very early 20s and once 3 years ago with Lily. And the feeling of the helicopter and being in a helicopter, like when I was in my early 20s, I went in the helicopter ride on a Saturday, and on the Monday I was calling the flight school, which happens to be in this city that I live in, calling the flight school to ask, what do I need to be a pilot? And then they were saying a bunch of math, and I was like, oh, I was really not good in math. I failed grade 10 math like 3 times. So how many courses would I have to do before I'm even allowed in, to be in the school? And he starts to, I can still like hear him almost old fashioned, right? A phone call back in the day. And he's basically telling me all this math I need to catch up on. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's going to be working out for me. It's like, there's no way to bypass. So I can't use any of my credits from like early childhood education and taking care of kids to get into like helicopter school. He was just like, no, no. Your philosophy and your like, your literary background doesn't get you into helicopter like flight school. I was like, oh shit. I'm not gonna be a pilot. I wish I was joking, but that was legit. I was like, so I took like, advanced literature. He's like, that's not gonna get you into flight school, dear. Yes, fire as well, Nigel. Here in Australia, they're used a lot for fires and requests. They're an amazing thing to have. Definitely in a country areas. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've met pilots or people who, do certain jobs within the industry as well. So always a positive, pure imprint. Jeanette, the helicopter rescues, care flight, save my. Wow, I knew I was saying that for a reason, but Jeanette, the helicopter rescue, care flight saved my son's heart in 2018. And I'm right near the airport and I see it most days. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. I have shivers everywhere. Yeah, many people, right? Because, like, again, I lived at very small, rural. It wasn't even on Google Maps till a certain time. Oh my God, triple Australia. Nigel, Jeanette, and Anita. Oh my gosh, that's a trinity. Thank you for coming in, even if you can't stay, Anita. I can't stay, but sending pure love energy through the stream. Thank you, sweetie. I've been thinking about you, so it's like, I'm sorry. I was thinking about you so much that you had to pop in, even if you got no time. But to be at the same time, like, boom, 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 right? The trinity of Australia energy. Nigel, care flight and angel flights. They're great. Yeah, yeah. Depending on the severity of certain accidents or trauma, they'll use an ambulance. But there's some things that it's just no, it has to be that fast, right? As well, I tend to use the movie Avatar. I don't watch a lot of movies, so the movies that I watch, I use the synchronicities for. I always think of Avatar, and although it wasn't actual helicopters, it was, whatever, more advanced stuff that doesn't even exist or that does, but we don't know about it. How, I forget what the pilot's name, the lady, right? When she was like, I'm not doing what you tell me to do. And I tend to believe in the person, the people, right? Jeanette, I'm so thankful for that team. I'm in a rural area and 4 hours away from Brisbane where the heart hospital is. Yeah, exactly. For myself, where I lived, driving is 6 hours to Toronto or 8 hours to Montreal. So, how important it is to have the flights. Yeah, Nigel says Avatar, they're more like drones, but those type of aircraft do exist. Yeah. I see them as helicopters though, even if that's not what they were, because I bring it down to our reality right now. I don't know if that makes sense, but okay, the Oracle's gift, card 37. 3 and 7 is 10. Second sight, clairvoyance, seeing the future. Fate is a future determined by the choices you make now. Seeing the signs all around you. Recognizing potentials versus absolute determinism. When we ask for a sign from the universe, we're essentially asking for divine guidance that we believe needs to come from a source outside of us. This is because we don't always trust our own intuition, our ability to read between the lines and see beyond time and space. And so we ask for signs. We look for a mystical reassurance that our mundane lives don't seem to offer. However, the Oracle just simply provides an answer that's already inside of us. Waters above, my favorite number 37, like today, 37. Roar. And earlier on IG, I never really look at certain posts. They just, right? But a certain post came up from somebody that I love and trust, right? And he had three numbers. Choose a number and then go look at the cards. And so when I saw that 37 was there, I was like, oh, 37. Not even thinking today was 37, but thinking about you, sweetie. And I didn't let myself look at the two other numbers, what they said. It's like, if I didn't choose those numbers, don't go look at those cards. I went right directly to the 37 and it hit home. Yeah, definitely. It's 37 today. Whoa. Time flies, eh? So yeah, however, oracles simply provide an answer that's already inside of us. That's important because especially in this time that we're in, it's very easy to ask for a sign and then another sign and another sign and another sign and another sign. But you're always going to get the same answer, just said differently through different people, different cards, different songs, but the answer is not going to change. It's going to stay the same. It can only change when you flip into a certain embodiment, when you flip into a certain perspective, or when you actually take the action of what the cards are telling you to do. And I say telling you to do, guiding you to do, right? I find that in the last years, a lot of people have become addicted to the voyeurism of watching certain people who pull cards. You watch cards being flipped over and over and over, but you're not actually listening to the messages. And what that does is that extends timelines. So those of us who are messengers, we have to repeat ourselves over and over, sometimes for years, because the people coming through to get the messages are get the message, but then they flip to another channel and get the message again and then again. And so that's when I speak of, timelines that had the potential to come into fruition, but people didn't make the actions, right? The cards, the syncs, the numbers that come to us, the flow, it's we're not just meant to dance around saying, I saw 1111 again today, right? Sometimes there's steps, sometimes there's the message within. People don't trust themselves enough to, right? To actually embody what they need for those messages that are coming through. Yeah, full worm moon. We love it. Exactly, waters above. The voyeuristic society, 100%. This word has been in my mind lately. Same, it's not leaving. And I spoke of this earlier where I feel like a lot of people are just like, they're getting off on the fact that we're being bombarded with certain things, but then not of action, or just people want to wait and see what's going to happen. So, if collectively too many people want to just wait and see, the collective timelines they're going to get worse. They're not going to get easier. We're not just meant to sit and watch each other on screens year after year. There's meant to be gatherings. There's meant to be communities built. Some people already have land that they're meant to be sharing. We're not all going to manifest our own little building somewhere by ourselves. So, you know what I mean? If there's no interaction, if people just watch other people over and over and over, year after year after year, we are pulling in harsher timelines collectively for the collective reality, because some people, you know what I mean? Like the second card up today, was about creating. What are you creating? What are the little things that are whispering to you to create or to co-create? One of the examples that I use often is the Beatles. The Beatles weren't the Beatles until the Fab Four got together. Didn't matter how many gigs they did before. They weren't the Beatles until they were all there. The Black Eyed Peas existed. They did gigs. The Black Eyed Peas were already in existence. It's not until Fergie joined them that they became what they became. I use really big examples because people know who they are. Because if I use little examples of people in my society, you're not going to understand, right? You don't know Joe and Jill who got together and made a restaurant, and that restaurant is where people met, got married, right? That there's an extension. When two people or more gather and co-create something together, the ripple effect for others. So when I had my restaurant for 4 years and a couple months. Within the timeline of when I had my restaurant, people met there. They fell in love. They manifested marriages, families. Some, you know what I mean? Some people met through me having my restaurant and started businesses together, right? Obviously, if I had not had the restaurant, they would have met some other timeline somewhere else. But because I had it, they met in a safe place. They met in a spot where, you know what I mean? Like, the ripple effect of everything that we do is a ripple for somebody else. The simplest thing of, if you work in the public and if you showed up at work today and if you smiled at somebody and had even a little conversation and they looked at you and said, thank you, I needed this. If you hadn't have been at work, that person wouldn't have got what they needed. Not the same way. Right? Everything we do has a ripple effect. And there's so much that needs to be birthed within this collective reality to inspire other people, right? Songs, music, art, businesses, right? Like, I mean, within my reality here, I'm not meant to manifest a business here, but I know that, like, there's people, like, I can see certain buildings that are empty, and I see, like, the future timeline of how that place shines. There's something coming there. But it can't happen until people merge to make it happen, right? So sometimes it's an investor that meets somebody with an idea to support somebody with that idea financially. There's money everywhere. There's enough money right now for everybody around the world to be fully clothed, have homes, and have food. It's just, where is it being shared? How's it being dispersed? That's it, right? Oracles show up in a myriad of ways. Sometimes you see a billboard, or you hear a song, or you pull a card, or you get the exact message you need to support your choices to show you the way forward. Regardless of how the signs appear, an oracle is a reminder that you are part of this vast universe. You're witnessed by the great mystery and loved and cared for. It's a reminder that life is magical and you are magical. Today, trust in your own capacity to know what is right. Tune into Source. Be able to read the signs reflecting what is true and real within you. Let the oracle give you the gift of knowing that you are indeed on the right track. Magic is inside of you, outside of you, all around and within you. Got an itch. Just gonna catch up. Nigel, there's so many synchronicities with Avatar and the spiritual side of life. Yeah. It took me 3 nights to watch Avatar for real. I started crying almost at the beginning of the movie, and I needed to take 3 breaks. I had to watch it in 3 shots, guys. That's how. And I haven't watched the second one. If I'm ever guided to, we'll see. But that's how, whoa, that movie was, right? So many synchronicities with Avatar and the spiritual side of life. I even shared an Avatar clip today. Somebody was making me feel. Straight up, somebody was making me feel. What's the girl's character's name? I forget. I remember Jake because, huh? Nari, Lily says? I don't know. It sounds close, but I always remember Jake because Jake's one of my favorite names, and it's easy. But when the girl character comes into Jake's reality, she don't like him not. She thinks she's fucking ignorant, like a child, right? And she fucking smacks him at one point because she had to kill something to protect him. Nari? Navi, Nigel says. Thank you. I even shared that clip today because somebody was making me feel like that. And it's like, I don't know, right? Well, I hope it, take what resonates, leave the rest. But some people are making me feel like that these days, guys. That feeling of like, oh my God, right? Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Nigel says, waters. Last night, a clear sky here in Australia, and I didn't even see the moon. And I love Luna. I got so many pictures of sunsets and the moon, but last night it wasn't anywhere. Very strange. Nigel, you mentioned that. And last week, when I was in the stream with Todd, I could see that one of my people that came in because I was there, Seek for Sight, Nicholas, he wrote that the moon was out for 18 hours for him. So March 1st, from the 28th into the morning of March 1st, he stated that the moon was up for 18 hours for him. So it wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't showing for you somewhere, right? Aw, Jeanette, my son with the heart condition was born at 11/11 in 2000. Who knew what that meant back then? I've been an 11/11 since a child. So when I was really little, I would already make wishes when I would see double numbers, especially 11/11. To me, when I was little, it was to make wishes. Yes, waters above. It is. It's sad and sometimes even disgusting. It is. Especially being somebody who's a messenger, it feels like harvesting. It feels like, what the fuck? You guys go to bed, you make your prayers, you do your thing, you scream for an angel, you scream for answers. We show up, we give you what you're asking for, and then you're screaming for more. So it's like, what the fuck? You're getting exactly what you're screaming, begging, praying. Because although people want to make it sound pretty, when it gets to a certain time, and because there's time zones everywhere, there's people screaming like all the time, like, I can't do this anymore. I need a sign. Right? They're not all pretty. They would not show up in a vid and say how ugly it is when they are on their fucking knees, scared, alone. And this is masculine and feminine. More masculine are screaming for an angel now than actual feminine, because a lot of us feminine, we did so much fucking inner work that we've manifested solid foundations with other feminine and masculine. So we have solid foundations. We don't need to scream for a fucking angel anymore. We have them. So we either call or text them and we talk to them direct. Right? We got what we asked for years ago or months ago, depending. And, wanting a best friend. Okay, that best friend's not in our reality at our side, but she's a click away through a text. You know what I'm saying? So we've manifested to have those safeties. Doesn't mean we're never like exasperated and screaming for help or like crying for help the same sometimes as well. But the reflection, me knows, because I am one of those ones that get called to answer the calls, guys. Right? And that's why, like last week, or sometimes I'll make vids and it's like, what else has got to give? If you're getting exactly what you're asking, but then you're basically tossing us out as soon as we show up because we're not in the package that you want, or you want the package that we're in to be serving you up something that we can't give you, right? We're all souls. We're not supposed to be distracted by the fact that somebody's got boobies and somebody's doesn't, but not everybody's done the inner work to be able to talk to a feminine without blushing or without feeling that they've got to hit on her or sexualize her type of thing. Right? Again, me knows as much is true because I've been doing it for so many years, and all that I'm asking for at this point is I can do certain things for another amount of years if that's what the collective needs to string out. But I need backup. I need for some of my roles to change, right? That's it. Like I never even thought I would live stream, and now I'm in my third year without certain things in my reality that are, that are here or that I'm there. Repeating myself certain ways, just in a different, just whoa, right? Wow. Whew. Water, says Nigel, that's very strange. It's strange, but it is happening. That's real. Jeanette says, I know. I had no reference for 11/11 back then. That's even more beautiful on some level because, you know what I mean, having a child at that time, and without even seeing, I, I, I would think that it's a crystal child that you brought through in 2000, right? I would wonder if within the first days or weeks when people visited you or looked at your child, would one of the things that they said was, I can't believe how awake they are, or how wide the eyes are, type of thing, or how long it took, or was that ever said? I birthed Amy in 2000, and it was years. People would just be like, I've never seen such big blue eyes. I've never seen such big blue eyes on a baby or a toddler, right? She was referenced in a beautiful way as like an owl because, right, she would look right through people. And if she didn't want somebody to touch her, oh my God, right? It didn't matter if it was my mama. It didn't matter if somebody traveled because they wanted to see her. If she didn't want them around, right? Fuck, get away from that big blue-eyed girl, because she will fucking scream and tell you, you know what I mean? She didn't want to be touched by certain people. And that's it. She could feel energy like miles away, right? Waters says, Nigel, I captured it last night and I found a lovely song to go with it. Short video on my channel. Roar. I love it that you guys are finding each other. That's why everybody's blue, to be able to find the channels. Plus, Waters shared a video earlier, so it's easy peasy to find her. Nigel specifies it was about 8 p.m. and I'm in Albury, NSW. Usually it's straight up, but yeah, not last night. Venus was, but no moon for me. Roar. I kind of like it when that happens, Nigel. And yesterday, I noticed that the Big Dipper, I was like, okay, last night the Big Dipper was like this, and tonight is like completely like that. And Jeanette specifies the moon came up here in Queensland. That it was about 9:30 p.m., 10:30 your time. Nigel says daylight savings. I might have missed it. Jeanette says, I think so. It was quite small and not much light. Our moon was huge. Special need moms talk. I'm lurking here. I love your flow. Roar. Thank you for saying so. I was thinking about you. Jeanette, special needs mom, Nigel, and Renegade Musings, who's gone to for the horses at the farm, she said. That's like 4 people participating in a live stream that I did exactly 7 days ago, right? Thank you so much, guys. It's awesome. Nigel, I see numbers all the time. My kids get sick of me telling them 111, 11, 11, 22, 22, 22, 22, 333, etc. Whoa, Jeanette, it means a lot to me now. And I also got married on 1/11 November 2020. Whoa, that's powerful numbers. Nigel, absolutely agree. 14 years of back pain, so many doctors and surgeries, being a single stay-at-home dad, it ain't easy. Oh my gosh, sweetie. No kidding. Wow. Thanks for sharing that. I come from the perspective of a single mom, but I'm very well aware that, you know, I made a video last night and I didn't share it. It was, I lost my shit last night, guys. I forget what time it was, and everything was okay, right? I was feeling good. I was making a pasta, putting all my love and energy into it. And after I finished making it, and I was just letting it like, well, I hadn't made the pasta yet, but I made my sauce. I sat down in the living room, and as I sat down, I touched my eye, and I don't know what it was, if it was a piece of spice. I had taken my oregano and went like this, and my basil. I don't know if it was a cat hair, a piece of spice, but something got into my eye. Something got into my eye, and like it didn't take me like 30 seconds before I was up in the kitchen making water, like running the tap water so that it was warm, not too cold, not too hot. And I was just flushing, flushing, flushing. And as I was flushing out my eye, I lost my shit. I started to cry. I was just like, what the fuck? If something happens to me, if anything happens to me right now, like if I can't see for real, or like what the fuck, right? And that feeling of just like, there's nobody to call. There's nobody, you know, it's surreal. And I think that part of me needed to let a lot of fear pass through, because ultimately we can't bring any fear with us. But I made a video not long after saying, I don't get it. It takes two people to make a baby, but it's just normal in this world that only one person is responsible for one or more children after. And how? Okay, so, somebody transitions, they can't be there. Somebody finds a new relationship, they're not meant to be of soul contracts. But that no one else truly actually steps up, or if they do, they're full of judgment, right? You chose to have a baby, of course you're gonna have and whatever it is, you know what I mean? But I was just like, I was in shock of how jaded we are as a society, that it's just normal. The one person is expected to raise one or more children on their own without true support. Because they can say, special needs mom, you know what I mean. If anybody knows what I mean, it's you. Because as soon as there's a special need, then people will say, just do this, just do that. You have support. There's places to help you. And it's like, oh my God, sometimes it's even worse. Getting implicated in certain places, you're watched constantly all the time, you're monitored, or you can't get funds unless if you make a certain amount of money, then you get your funding gets taken away for whatever it is you're actually getting support for. So it's like you're in a constant loop all the fucking time. Anyways, I made a vid and I chose not to upload it because it was just like, as I was making the vid, I was like, this might sound like it's for me, but it's not. I'm not the person. This isn't about me. This is about like grieving for all of us who didn't have, who don't have a village to raise a child. You know what I mean? And how much judgment and yucky shit there is around it. I I've been a mom that's married. I've been a mom that's single. I've been a mom that was in union for 4 years, and now I'm a mom that's single again. So I know the puppet show background. I know when there's a man in my life, people might talk bad or not like what I'm doing, but they never projected it into me. They couldn't. There was somebody that was a witness. They couldn't act or talk the same way. You know what I mean? 11 years I was with my husband, and it wasn't until I was, a single mom that I ever got treated a certain way by anybody, whether it be in society or family or whoever. When I got separated from my marriage, I moved into an apartment that was above my restaurant, and there was only 2 bedrooms, and I had a son and a daughter. And I was told right away, don't tell people they share a room. I was like, what do you mean? Don't tell people they share a room. Why? She said, because Child Protective Services could come and investigate your house and take one of the kids away, or tell you that you have to move, or that you have to have your daughter sleep with you or something. And I was like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? But I wasn't aware of the dynamic of when you're a single parent and what you have to do to survive can actually be judged by the powers that be in our society. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, shit. Like, Sam and Amy have sleepovers all the time in the house that they were born, where they each have separate bedrooms. And she's like, yeah, but when you're mom and dad, nobody thinks about that stuff or looks at that stuff. But when you're single and, you say that out loud or your kids say that out loud at school, you never know who's going to make an anonymous phone call. And I was like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, I know that I needed to live a certain timeline to really understand. Because when I was married, did I have judgments? Yeah, probably. Did I never think I would ever be alone? Fuck, never, right? Ever. After I was, in a second union, did I ever think I'd be alone again? No, never. You know what I mean? So definitely, there's a lot of learning curves. And it's shocking, just this world, how it is, and what a target you can be. Same, Jeanette. I wrote the biggest blue eyes as you were saying it, and he was the fussiest baby. And the rescue helicopter is coming in just as we talk. Oh, that's beautiful. Thanks for telling me. Yes, Amy was the fussiest of my three as well. And it's because now, if I would have had access to the internet, if I would have known about Crystal Children then I would have known. It's because she was like basically like so much things bothered her. She was so like she would have needed me to not go back to work, right? But I did. And she screamed every fucking time we left her. And as soon as we were gone, yeah, she would bounce back into playing because she had a very good caregiver. We were blessed. But she still screamed every fucking time we left her. She was the one who would have needed certain energy. She's also, as soon as she started to get vaccines, because back then I lived in a rural area. I didn't want to do that, but my husband would be like, but we have to. Everybody does it. It's just normal. There was no way for me to educate myself. And so, she got the vaccines that were for our area and her age range at the time. And she cried for like almost 9 months. For real. I can see myself, and I'm a working mom by the time she's 6 months old. I'm not even fully healed from my C-section, and my husband's either working shift work or sleeping deeply as I try to fucking soothe my daughter. It was, you know what I mean? She was so, 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 so sensitive that so many things, and me did not know because me was not aware of what Crystal Children. And that's the thing is when I got on the internet, she was 5, 6 years old, and then it was like right away. I saw everything for what it was. Samuel is an indigo, like me, like his dad, and there was things that didn't affect him the way that they affected Amy. She was a crystal child. She still is, but okay, I'm gonna just catch up to the chat. If anybody else is coming in, please welcome and just know that I'm catching up. Hi, Mr. Hugh. How's everything going? I'm glad you decided to come in too, Nigel. Glad you're live. Yeah, I was feeling it today. Jeanette says, Nigel, blessings to you because the medical industry is not easy to navigate. Indeed. He was an old soul and the biggest blue eyes you ever seen. And I wrote the big blue eyes as you were saying it. He was the fussiest baby. I'm just catching up to everything. Yeah. Special needs mom talk. Glad to be here. Yes, on the numbers lately all day long. Same. To the point where sometimes I'm not even like grabbing my phone or looking because it's like I know they're there. I can feel it, that the messages coming through type thing. Hey Amber. Amber Lachelle, how's your day, sweetie? Nigel Woodley, being a single parent, it's scary. I'm the lucky one. 4 boys. One is 26 and local. So just before Christmas, I spent a week in the hospital, but having 4 boys, they all came together and helped out. Yeah, that's beautiful. Special needs mom says, you got it. It's a deep grief. Yeah, it is. Because, you know, we talk about new world, better world. I can have a lot of ick with the spiritual, you know, people who talk about certain things and say, you know, that it takes time to heal our wounds from childhood. And it's like, okay, stop giving everybody a baby blanket that it's going to take more time. Because if we don't fucking heal our shit, at least to a certain degree, the ripple effect collectively is our children going through what we never even had to get through. So you can't say that our children now are more resilient. They were born for this. I've heard spiritual people say our children were born for this. And then you're telling other people that in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, we weren't born for that, and that we need like years or like time to heal more. How much more can we heal? We're looping certain things collectively over and over as our children are in a reality that is fucking surreal. Right? Not everybody got the timeline of, hey, you know, my children go to a spiritual school and blah, 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 blah. We don't have that around here, right? I looked into things and it costs like tens of thousands of dollars for 1 month here in Canada to have my, you know, if I wasn't just a natural homeschooler and believing that the system doesn't need to be there, that for my daughter to partake in anything is thousands and thousands of dollars. You want to tell me that all of a sudden it's because I got abundance wounds and then like all of a sudden $10,000 is going to fall out of the sky for 12 months? No. We're the ones supposed to be making new things. But if we're all alone year after year surviving, I can't fucking manifest more on my own. You know what I mean? Amber, hey Jen, want to hear something funny? I recently was told I'm a rule breaker. And my report cards never said that in school. I guess I'm getting rebellious in my old age. Roar. Good. Some rules are meant to be broken. They don't make sense. Right? Yeah, Nigel. Yeah. CPS go too far. Family's family. Yeah. And this, with the Child Protective Services, and it's all about money and stature, right? Because the less that you have of income, the more that you're a target. And if you live in a certain neighborhood, they just punch up your address and they don't go show up at your house, right? Because you live in an affluent neighborhood, because somebody's a teacher or a nurse, because certain things in my reality that I was working, you know, I was working in the system of childcare a couple years ago, and it's like I said, you're allowing this woman to have actual more kids in her house, saying that she's a safe place to be a foster mom, but I'm telling you, she's not even safe for her own self. And it completely got swept under the rug. They didn't want to hear about it because she was part of the system, right? So when you're a clique and part of certain systems, you can be doing a lot of fucking horrible shit and nobody's gonna do anything. But if you're of a certain low income, if somebody calls, you're gonna get investigated. That's it, right? They don't. Jeanette, I'm thankful that my ex was in the picture, and we also did share care with the boys. They live with their dad in Brisbane when I choose to move back here in 2021. I used to say Brad didn't sleep for 4 months. I didn't work, thankfully. Yeah, it was like that as well. 10:01 where you are in Oz, Nigel? Hey, Peter. Peter Barouette, comment ça va? Good day to all. Good day to you too, dude. Special needs moms talk. So many synchronicities in your story. Yeah, that's why I do what I do, sweetie, and I just let pour. And then, right, there's somebody somewhere that needs that mirror. And I just said, that's it, Amber. It's all you can do. Exactly, Jeanette. My mother was a nurse, so mine are vax as well. And it's what you do back then without asking. Exactly. I used to tell my husband at the time, this is hurting me physically to bring them. I get sick before, and I feel like, looking back, first of all, it's the timeline that they were meant to have, right? That's why as well I've healed my like I don't have guilt or shame or anything about what my choices were back then. They are what they were and they were meant to be, but when you know better, you do better, right? And so that's it. But yeah, looking back, especially after when she was like, let's say 5 or 6 months, if I would have listened to my instinct and nobody else's, then it would have alleviated a lot, right? Because what happens is that, especially in the 2000s, is when it started to be not just one vaccine, right? It was like the amping up. They knew the crystal children were coming in, and so they amped up the doses to desensitize them to, right, certain things. Nigel says, talking about 11, there's 11, there's 11 and there's 11 in the chat. Mr. Hugh doing fine, Jen. Thank you. Hope you're well. He's okay. Peter, Samuel felt like a sync connection because Spirit calls me Samuel sometimes. Samuel is my son's name, Peter. And Samuel is my son's name to the point where I knew, like I hung out with my husband before I knew he was my husband. He was my friend, right? He was my friend. And we were playing pool one night, a bunch of us, and he was my partner. And he was just my friend. Like, yeah, he was pretty hot. Kind of looked like Brad Pitt, but I'd say hotter. And more country boy, not, you know what I mean? And we're playing pool and just asking weird questions, like, whatever. It's just the way I've always been, is no small talk, and whatever comes out of me is bigger than the room sometimes. And I remember we were playing pool and I looked up at him. I was like, if you had a son, what would his name be? And he said Samuel. And it was like, click, me too. And from that moment, like I saw Samuel, the future, I saw us as man and wife, and like that's how that name was meant to be my son's name, and that name is what solidified that I went from the girl who's just playing pool with a friend to the girl who's looking up being like, oh shit, this is my future husband. And I'm going to put on top of that, I never thought I was going to have kids, and I never thought I was actually going to get married. So I wasn't the kind of girl coming out of high school who's like, oh, I can't wait to have babies and have a husband, because I was the girl most likely to go off to New York and do shit, right? From a Canadian high school of, oh my God, right? And I was going to work with children so that I would never have to have any. So, you know what I mean? It was big. Marar, you're welcome. Jeanette, good point, says Amber, you know who you are, and that's what's true. Exactly. You back, honey, from horse energy? Yes, the mere surviving must end. Indeed. And imagine, eh? I know, Renee, I know from manifesting to have more support this year, how much more my light can be shined in a certain way, but amp that up, that I'm not merely, that I have a different support system and soul family and certain things in place, I'm unstoppable. You know what I mean? And unstoppable in a way that is always for the greater good, because I'm not in service to self. I'm not of free will anymore a certain way. Do I still have my free will? Yes. Yes, I do. But I'm of divine will. There's a difference. Right? Some people, it's free will, and that's it. This is what their path is in this lifetime. But some of us, it's of the divine. I don't get to pick and choose and to sit here and manifest this and that and all that. I'm on the, right, a certain timeline that is about the timing, the synchronicities, the flow of who's meant. And you know, everything else is just fluff in my way. I don't know if that makes sense, but I have a divine partner that's meant to be in my future timelines. So anybody wanting to woo or to think about me a certain way, it's like, get out of my way, right? I don't need more experiences or lessons or more of certain things. And how, if somebody comes into my timelines, it just messes shit up, right? It's not you, get the fuck out of my way type thing. I don't know if that makes sense, but free will versus divine will is just two other levels. Service to self versus service to the all. It's huge, guys. Jeanette, I worked in child protection until 2017. It is a machine for keeping them in the system into their adulthood. Yeah. And it's hard, to be a part of that system, because seeing it for what it is, whew, it's surreal. It is. That way. Do you have to break all the rules to even use all the rules? I don't know that way. But I'm going to say this. Certain things are just logical to me. I don't need a law to tell me not to text and drive. Okay? For myself, if I'm driving, I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not touching it. So whether there's a law there or not that says I can't do it, I'm not doing it. Right? If there's a sign that says no smoking, you can be sure I'm smoking underneath it if it's not near the fucking door or anybody's path.
Even with a security guard right in front of you.
Lily says, even with a security guard right in front of me.
True. She did it before when we were at the mall.
Yeah, I did. Security guard's right there. The sign telling me not to smoke's right there. It's butt fuck cold, and if I go where I'm supposed to smoke, I'm gonna freeze my nuts off. I don't even have nuts. So you can be sure I stayed, like, out of the wind. You know what I mean? Go ahead, security guard. Like, what are you gonna do? Find me because I'm under the sign? It's fucking cold, right? I'm hovering. She probably put out her cigarette as soon as I came out because she was smoking there too. Me not knows. You know? Are certain things logical? It says no parking. If nobody parks there, then somebody coming to deliver can do what they do. Why would I get in the way of a delivery fucking truck? I know what it's like to need the delivery if I'm the restaurant, and if somebody's parked in the fucking way, the whole day gets fucked up, right? So why would I park there? There's other spots where there's nothing around. I really don't care what the sign says. I'm gonna fucking park there if I need to, right? Just certain things. Logic doesn't need certain signs or certain rules. Of course I'm going to break it. It doesn't exist, right? And then other things. It's like you said before to me that way, you don't need a driver's license to drive. Well, no, but I need a driver's license to be able to buy a car. And in the timeline where you said you don't need a driver's license to drive, the same week there was a hit and run down the street. Right? There was a hit and run. The guy hit a girl, put her in critical condition, didn't even give a shit that he hit her. He went to hide his truck in a garage. Why? Because he knew he wasn't right? Yeah, not everybody would do that, but when you know you're going against a law, there's more chance that you, right? You're gonna fucking run away. Anybody else with integrity would have like ran out of the car, don't matter what, even if they're drunk or anything. But not everybody's like that, right? So certain things make sense to me even if they don't, right? It's a means to an end. If somebody want to come and drop off a fucking vehicle tomorrow in my yard and say, you don't need to like show ID and it's just yours, go ahead, please, right? I'm trying to find a vehicle right now. It ain't as easy as it, just so yeah. But I mean, otherwise, the means to an end, there's a certain way I have to roll. Catching up to the chat, guys, just in case if you feel like left out. Hey, Wolf Dude. Hey, Mama Bear. How's it going, dude? Happy Toesday. Jeanette, I say now we are connected to clear out our karma. We had a few of those conversations. Nigel, we as parents definitely know better. Yep. We needed to do certain things to learn from them. Jeanette says, I had a baby in 2000 and the second was born in 2002, had additional vaccines at birth, and he developed jaundice, which now I know is the liver failure. Yeah. Amber, thanks guys. I'm listening and cleaning up a bit. Roar. Thanks for taking the time to come in, Amber. Me loves you. That same for me. Thanks for mentioning it, Jeanette. My husband has been in my life since 1994 as a friend, and then in 2015, and then it changed. Yeah. For myself, when my ex-husband and I got separated, we were a fully functioning unit, separated. It was amazing. Right? We were a fully functioning unit that put all our pride aside. We'd shut the fuck up in the greater good of the kids. We met, well, first of all, I had my restaurant at the time, and I was the only restaurant in town. So he was in and out of the restaurant sometimes like whatever amount of times a day. Whether to see me, whether to see the kids, whether to grab a coffee, whether it was just to hook up with the guys, talk about cars, have a coffee, right? And then what happened is that the same timeline as I closed my restaurant, there was, well, he doesn't want to be on screen. Go. There was a suicide of one of my husband's closest friends, and at the same time he was coming into fruition with a new partner, and I backed away a little bit from being like the best friend, and that helped solidify his relationship with his partner that he's still with today, but she never really liked me, so we never became the extended blended family after she came into his life, which was meant to happen the way that it did, blah, 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 right? But I'm the kind of person where if I fall in love with somebody who has an ex-wife or an ex-partner, especially if they got kids, I'm the kind of person that's like, thanks for dumping him, and I'm so glad you guys had your time together, and like, thanks for everything you taught him, because now he can be a better man for me. Right? That's where I'm at in my embodiment, and I have been for a heck of a long time of, our life is soul contracts. We have soul contracts with people, and when it's done, it's done. So we can look other people in the eye from my perspective and be like, wow, I'm so glad you guys were married for like 11 years. Now it's my turn, and everything he learned from you, he's going to be like better for me. That's it, right? It's not creepy to think that way, but other people think that's creepy. Go, hurry up. Makes me feel weird to be like, she doesn't want to be on screen.
You said that twice.
I know, but I'm trying to make it not awkward for me. I'm the one with my like pits showing up this way. Imagine passing through a live stream and you just see somebody like, what the hell is she doing?
First thing you joined, too.
I know, eh? I just lost like 100 people, like just because I look weird. I don't know, I'm joking. Renegade. I like that. I'm of divine will. Yeah. I forget who. It's a couple years ago. I was listening to somebody talk, and they were really talking about divine will versus free will. Doesn't mean we don't have our free will still, but that even what we choose to do, our littlest choices, is it going to ripple effect for a greater good or not? Right? Nigel, it makes sense because I've been single for like 3-4 years now, and it's the longest I've ever been, but I know I'm here for my boys. Yeah. Yeah. Renee, I'm leaving my Wi-Fi signal now, heading back home. Rawr, okay. I don't know if I'll still be here when you come back, or if you come back, but I've been babbling for a while. Peter says, Genevieve, so much has shifted for the betterment. Spirit says, but it's been quite the yellow road. Exactly, Amber. This is supposed to be a free country, right? And I'm not hurting anyone. Nigel, I'm a vape dude, so I argue the fact that it's not smoking. Oosh, he's not good at vaping. Jeanette says, a lot of Aussies smoking, Nigel, and noticed a lot of vaping. I decided I have enough of smoking in 2018. Hey, Jelly Jungle. The dude who saved my energy 2 nights ago. Thank you, dude. Just to hear it from my voice, everything that I was saying in the chat the other night, I was feeling like a piece of, I wasn't feeling very good emotionally. And then when I pressed on your live stream, it was specifically Madonna, Borderline. She was actually saying, I feel like I'm going to lose my mind. And as she was saying that, I was like, okay, I'm anchoring here for a while. I need just music, flow, not knowing what music's coming up, not me controlling it, your voice, playing the game with everybody who chose to play. Seek for Sight. Nick, I see you're there. Nick showed up when I ended up sharing the second live stream that you started. But just so you know, Jelly, and anybody else who does any type of streams, especially when you do streams where you share your gaming or you're not focused on a subject, you're not trying to prove anything, how important those streams can be, guys. Right? My day streams or my regular streams, I talk a lot, I bounce off the chat. You never knows what's going to come up. And I've done night streams before where I just show up. I don't have a lot of lighting because I don't like lighting at night. And I just show up and I play random music and I don't really participate so much of talking. And I always wonder, like, why do I do this? Why am I doing this? It's just dumb, right? Like, I'm just showing up and whatever. And then people would tell me, no, I needed that. Or no, like that aspect of you, like seeing you, me, not talking and participating and flowing, but just seeing me like kind of whatever. He's just kind of like hanging out, right? And because when somebody told me that, I was like, really? I was just like, why am I doing this? It's kind of lame. And it was like, no, how? Even if I'm not talking, that's what's needed in the moment, right? To make other people feel less alone or to feel like the music that I'm putting up is a song you haven't heard in so long, right? All of that. You never know, right? Anyways. Hey, on the plant. How's everything going, dude? Welcome in. Did all that snow melt for you? Seek for Sight, a few chairs and a blanket. Boom. Sanctuary created. Nigel says, I started vaping after I injured my back in '09. Not the $3 highlighter looking things. Jeanette says, I'm going to have to go do some work. I work for myself, so bye. Okay. Thanks so much for being here, and thanks for all that you participated, because, like, whoa, synchronicities between us, right? Jeanette, bye, everyone. Thanks for a great start to my Wednesday, Genevieve, and everyone in chat. Yeah, Amber. Just to let loose. Yeah. Amber, I have pulled cards. I'm going to show you the ones that I've pulled. Then I'm going to take a break, and I'll pull a few more. I'm going to show them in the order that they came up. First card was the Mirror card, number 27. The second was TikTok, 30. Basically, this one was about creating, about being a co-creator, about creating things, about sharing gifts. That there is ample time, but that it's time to get to it was basically the message. 7 Star Sisters, Birthing Creations, Tapestry of Life, Expression kind of illuminated that same thing. Just different words. Right? Creating, allowing for the creations, how many new things need to be birthed, and that they're right there within us, but we just have to share them. The Lion, be generous of spirit. Again, the message was sharing is caring. Show up. Have a humble pride. Show up. The Observer, 49. I thought that one was interesting. To really observe things, to be non-reactive. One of the messages coming through with this card was really to a point that, you know, some things might not be working really good right now, but take a high road. Don't react. Look at it from the outsider point of view, because then you can see why, right? And the Oracle's gift, that there's an Oracle message everywhere, and basically to use it, right? Yeah, it's funny too, because I was thinking about the Mirror card as I was shuffling. So whenever that happens, when I'm actually thinking of a card and that's the card that pops out, that's really powerful. And the reason I was thinking of the Oracle card as I was shuffling is the fact that it's full moon, right? Whether it's new moon or full moon or whatever moon, but that it's really, that it starts with us, right? The look in the mirror. So I'm just going to move around, take a little break, and then I'm going to grab some cards. Nigel says meditation time for me, so I will catch you next time, Genevieve. So glad I caught you though. Lots of love from Australia. Lots of love back at you from Canada. Eh? Eh? Had to add that. Okay, let's get a couple cards going, and this is going to be the end of the live stream. Wrapping it up. He's getting, ooh, okay. He's getting hungry. Actually, no. If it's meant to come out, it'll come out again. He's getting hungry, so I started, I'm reheating my soup. Stag spirit, leadership. Excuse me. Card number 39. Leadership. A majestic stag stands atop a mossy knoll. His nobility and grace are palpable. He can see fog form around his nostrils with his every exhalation. He does not need to announce his might. Simply and utterly, he is powerful without words or proclamations. That's important. To me, a good leader, you don't even know who the leader is. What I mean by that is if you see a team at a restaurant, you're not sure who the owner is, because that leader is so amazing that everybody as a team gives off that energy that it could be them that's the leader. And I speak specifically a restaurant like that because that's how I was with my teams. People would go towards the oldest looking person in the room thinking she was the owner, and it was like, no, it's me. It's me. And to me, the best leadership is when the whole team collaborates so well that you don't even know if the leader's on a day off, right? Because the whole team just works in unison. In many traditions, the elusive and mysterious white stag is considered the king of the forest. With his noble antlers and his proud stance, he carries a commanding energy. This card is calling you to claim your leadership. Now is the time to step out of the shadows and become a beacon for others. Don't allow anyone or anything to dim your light. You might be asked to take on a position of authority. Even if you have been in the background in the past, this is your time to step up and shine. Remember, a leader is not necessarily defined by age, status, or income, because a true leader is someone who is commanding, passionate, and motivating. They have a vision, and they're able to make decisions with clarity and strength. The greatest leaders are those who know how to serve and act as stepping stones for others to reach their dreams. I love that. That's it. And that's what I mentioned earlier. The stepping stone for others to reach their dreams. It's not about one person. It's about the whole team. You empower others just by being who you are, and who you are is enough. Are you willing to step into the light and be a leader for others? In European folklore, a white stag signifies extraordinary adventures. And in others, the stag is a fairy beast that represents a quest for spiritual wisdom. These themes might appear in your life in the near future. You inspire others to greater heights. Step into leadership in your life. You are a beacon for others. Shine in your own life. Be gentle with yourself and others. Do not play small. Take action. This is your time. Step up. Mr. Hugh, a lot of energy going around the full moon tonight, Jen. It looks lovely. I think I have another hour, an hour and a half before she's visible here. And Amber says it's a worm moon because spring is coming, I guess. Yeah. We won't have worms that are visible or able to come out of the ground for another month, 2 months, depending on, you know, the temperatures, because everything's like frozen. A tall tale. Card number 35. Wrong book, Jen. $35, a tall tale, denial, concealing the truth so you can manipulate and control a situation, fear-based communication, creating a narrative to hide behind, not allowing the fear of what others will think to influence your words, learning to communicate from a place of authenticity. Whoever's here right now or whoever hears this in real time, if it uploads, please heed this warning. You or someone else is telling a tale, tall tale right now. This is important. I only have about 2 or 3 cards in all of my 20-ish decks that actually are a portent speaking from this perspective, and these cards don't come up often. So it says there's 6 people in the chat. Whoever's here now listening, or again, whoever in the lag of time, once the stream uploads, is listening to this. This is important. You or someone else is telling a tall tale right now. You always know if a falsehood is spoken because it doesn't feel grounded. When you lie, you get high on an illusionary sense of power that is doomed to fail at some point. You feel driven by the fear of exposure, but something makes you stick to your story even though you know it has no substance. Whatever lie we are caught up in right now isn't as important as the motive for it. Why does anyone lie? Perhaps we don't believe the truth is good enough, or we want to keep doing what we know we shouldn't be doing. Then there is the lie put forth while in denial, such as hiding addictive behaviors. In this scenario, we might believe our own lies. The tall tale, the white lie, the stretching of the truth, and the blatant fabrication are all a part of control. The desire for it, the lack of it, the need to maintain it so we can manipulate the outer world and hide our inner one. What's coming up as well is that watch, listen, be discerning. Wherever you're giving your energy to listen to live streams or videos, feel through it. We're being redirected. We might be watching people who are in service to self, and although they speak, they're telling us, I'm in service to others, I'm this and I'm that. This is why this card came up first too, eh? A good leader doesn't have to tell you, I'm the boss. They're just emanating it, and they're just doing what they're supposed to be doing. Right? That's it. Do you need to be at work and be told every day, I'm the boss, I'm the manager, I'm this, I'm that? Because if somebody's saying that out loud or pulling that rank all the time, that comes from insecurity. That doesn't come from like a humble pride of, I know myself. Because when you know yourself, you're not telling everybody that you're the fucking leader. You're just leading. Right? So a lot of false light, or light that has been emanating and has reached a certain status, right? Thousands and thousands of views. Oh, wow, look at this video. 5,000 views in an hour. This person's important. This person is this person is that. Discern through it, right? The looping has to come to an end, and where we focus our energy is how we're going to end certain things that are manifesting and just looping. Today, ask for the truth. Be willing to pay the price and be okay with the vulnerability that your lie is exposing in yourself or others. Transparency is required to get us where we need to go, to be truly empowered, to reveal the strength of what is true and authentic. All other paths are leading to a dead end. Remember the saying that the truth will set you free. Get ready to fly unfettered. Important. Amber, I lied yesterday out of shame. Definitely going to avoid that in the future. Rar, thanks for sharing that. Yeah. Believe me, he knows what you mean. And, well, not, I don't know your specific situation, but yeah. Been there, done that. Bought the t-shirt, honey. You know what I mean? For real. And that's why it's like, it's easy to forgive other people for, even if it's like years that they've created a certain scenario, because I did it on a certain timeline of my life as well. I didn't know I was even doing it at the time. And then it was like, whoa, this isn't me, authentic me. Yeah. You're welcome, sweetie. When we know better, we grow better. And when you know, just the awareness that you did, wow. Because it's the accountability. Yeah, Amber, it's the accountability. And by being able to, by doing it yourself, if somebody in your near future or, does or chooses a certain timeline, you'll better be able to understand it as well. Instead of thinking this person is bad, you're going to think, wow, that person's just at a place where they have shame or they have, guilt, or they just don't know better yet. I find that after, especially if there's accountability, I've grown for myself, but others as well. So when certain people came into my life or timelines and reality and acted certain ways, but then changed their behavior, rawr, right? It's beautiful. It is. Everybody gets a chance. And, everything that happens for a reason. Even if it might suck balls sometimes, it did happen for a reason. The worm moon makes you think of Pink Floyd? One of the last big lies I ever told is like back when I had my restaurant and then I had gotten separated from my husband, but then I was in a new relationship and I had a Jeep and we were fucking around, and with the Jeep, somebody had done something with their car, like to spin the wheels and just manifest like the wheels and then the smoke coming up. And I was like, oh my God, I want to do that. I want to do that. And somebody said, you can't do that with the Jeep like yours. And I was like, of course I can. I can do anything I want. And then I handed the keys to my boyfriend at the time and said, you do it. I don't know how. And so he did, but within, 30 seconds, like, boom, my differential, like, fell off my Jeep. I don't know how to talk Jeep talk. And I was like, oh, shit. And so the next day, when I was at work, my restaurant, my husband comes in. He's like, what the fuck? You called me. You say you want me to fix the Jeep. What happened? And so I told him what happened, but I said I was driving because I didn't want him to be mad at my new boyfriend. And he looks at me. He's like, you were driving? And I was like, yeah. And he looks at me, he's like, okay, well, there was actually like 10 of you there yesterday, and I already heard the story from 2 other people, and I know it was Danny driving, and I was like, oh, shit. He's like, why are you lying to me? And I was like, because I didn't want you to be mad at Danny. I'd rather you were mad at me. And he was like, wow, that was fucking stupid. And he's talking to me in French, like, that was fucking stupid. Now it's like, I'm going to have trouble trusting you because you lied. I was like, I know, but I lied because I want you to not hate my new boyfriend and be nice to him. I work in the public. We see each other all the time. He hangs out with the kids. And he was just like shaking his head of like, and I was like, fuck, I'm such a dumbass. There was like fucking so many of us, right? I think there was like 10, 15 of us, just whatever, having fun with the cars. And it was so stupid, right? I wanted him to be mad at me. I didn't want him to be mad or think bad things about my new boyfriend. But it was so stupid because it's like if we had been alone, then the lie would have never got busted. But he already knew I was lying as I was lying to him. Oh my God. And that marked me forever. I was like 30 something. And it was like, to me, it was a little white lie. And I was trying to protect someone else. But it was like, I ended up shooting myself in the foot. And it's like, one of the things, though, I remember looking at my ex-husband, and being like, dude, for all the bullshit and lies you've ever told me that were so stupid, like, you're really not gonna, like, forgive me for this and understand? I'm trying to take the blame for somebody. It's not like I'm trying to blame someone, right? So we did get over that hump pretty fast, but it was like butt fuck stupid. You know what I mean? Like, but again, here I am taking the blame for something, and he already knew. That's beautiful, Amber. I'm behind on rent and I felt attacked, so I partially blamed it on my ex. And I felt awful immediately, and I worked out a payment plan, though. Roar. Yeah, and that's the type of fight or flight fear, right? Especially in these times right now, Amber. There's many people who know the laws, right? Homeowners or people who rent, and they know when they can give you an eviction notice and how fast. So it's like, it's fucking terrifying. I'm gonna use those words. It's fight or flight, and it's terrifying. Amber, I'm 51 years old, and I've never in my whole life, no matter how many different type of people I knew, no matter how many people I knew, I've never known so many people either, like, again, completely homeless, living in vehicles because of their choice or because they have to, or, complete, just, whoa. Yes, Amber, we live and we learn, and it's the only way. Yeah. And I find that because I am accountable, I have lied, that I can allow for someone else to be forgiven very fast. And then it's on me or on them if they choose to continue that pattern. But at some point, right? Forgiveness. Hey, Eddie. Hi, Moose. I know. Renee says, wow, you're still here. I know. I'm working overtime, honey. I'm working overtime. This is... I'm in overtime. And I say that I usually, when I have a good flow, it's between 2 and 4 hours that I just, even if I say I'm stopping or if I'm almost done, there's always more. And Amber says I kept her into overtime. I feel guided to stay. You're not keeping me, sweetie. Don't worry about that part. And I love when people like you, right, Renee? So you went once, you came back, you went once, and now, like, what? You're still here? I love that feeling of people going about their day, right? So you started at the beginning, then you went and did something, then you come back, it's like, what? And then you come back again, it's like, what? And who knows? I could be like streaming in another 2 hours. And you're like, what are you doing? I'm just gonna go check my soup. Hey, Moose. How's it going? Do you see my moose here? Whee, the moose is loose. I got a moose right here. I just want to stir my soup because I put it on very low, but I don't want it to get sticky. I don't make very watery, brothy soups. It's very thick, so I don't want it to stick. Exactly, Eddie says, make a plan for the month ahead next month, and you can never forget. You can do it. You can do anything. I saw you had a live stream with the panel earlier, Moose. I didn't really pop into it. I forget what I was doing or choosing not to do at the time. Did you have a good stream, Moose? Renee, time to put my cold feet up to the stove now. Amber, you're definitely in it, the anchor. Oh, yeah, baby. I even got it tattooed. That's a fine moose there. What kind of soup? I made it's like a cabbage, rice, tomatoey soup, and it's super thick. Rawr. 55, snake spirit, time to heal. All of us need healing at times, and when snake spirit appears, it's a time to repair, renew, and replenish yourself and your vulnerable heart. Self-care and maintenance work are needed so that your vitality can arise. So give yourself the space to nourish your own well-being. Vulnerability is necessary for friendships and partnerships to work, which means all of us will have tender emotions at times. Be gentle with yourself and others now. Shed the past. Step into a new way of being, for vitality is rising within you. This might be a good time to honor the work you have done to heal, grow, and repair any damage within you, within those you care about, and within your communities. Celebrate together how far you have come in your healing journey and all that you have created. Unburden yourself of anything that no longer supports wellness, prosperity, positive relationships, and well-being, and open the door for healing to occur. Protection message. No matter how much you might have lost or how you have been disappointed, you are called by Snake Spirit to shed the past and practice radical self-acceptance now. Only by forgiving yourself can you move on, regardless of whether anyone else is ready for the healing. That's important. We're not all going to get validation. We're not all going to get accountability. It's important. You have to give it to yourself, right? When your tender new skin first becomes exposed, you might feel uncomfortable. Love yourself and remain vulnerable anyways. You have been weak, but now you're becoming strong and developing wisdom, and you will do better in the future. Snake Spirit reminds you that hearts can be so easily wounded, and apologies and amends goes a long way. Indeed, self-forgiveness for your role in what happened helps you to heal. Remember, it's the one who has been wounded who often has the greatest power to help others heal. Indeed. Indeed. The life experiences accumulated make for the best mirrors, right? I was noticing the other day, or in the last months or so, how important it is that certain people, that I gravitate to certain people that have life experience. Because if I'm listening to somebody who has never had a child, has never lived certain things, then I'm not getting what I need as a reflection. So can I get certain things and take what resonates and leave the rest? Oh, heck yeah. From everybody, all walks of life, all ages. But for certain things, doesn't make sense to me to hear somebody who's not even able to take care of a cat speaking about certain perspectives. And I say that because, okay, some people aren't animal people, but they are so in service to their own self that they don't even have a cat in their reality because they have to be able to like fly off on a dime and manifest what they need for themselves. And that's beautiful. But then you can't talk about certain things and that I understand, because I haven't had that reality since I was, 19 years old. So the life experience that's missing, that what they say goes like, whew, because they don't get it. They're not in, all of the stuff that I've lived or that I'm living now. They're not a mirror for me, right? So how certain people, and God, they're serving their purpose for what they're serving, because the dynamic of a certain age range or people who don't need what I need, they're important for somebody else, right? So it's not that this person is not real or authentic, but damn, if you don't even know what it's like to take care of a cat right now in this reality, then there's more that I need, because what I'm learning and growing or feeling safe listening to is in service to others, not service to just self, right? I don't know if that makes sense, but I was wondering the other day, like, why do certain people just like rah, 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 and it doesn't even make sense to me. And it's like, because they're not in the paradigm that I know, right? They don't have that life experience. It's like going to a life coach that took a course online that's 25 years old, but they don't have life experience, right? Or then you would go to someone who, they're not a life coach. They're not a coach of anything. They're the lady who serves you your coffee at the coffee shop, only 25 years old, but holy shit, that person not only is an old soul, but has gone through more stuff in their life than I ever will, and I'm 51, right? They've been through certain traumas, or they've been through certain things that they got more of other types of life experiences I'll never have. So it's very easy, even if, there's like 25 years between us, that person's a mirror, because they know pain, they know trauma, they know sis what it's like to get up and fucking just have to keep on going, right? Moose, the stream went well. I was trying to help Larry get more people over to his stream. Special needs, mom talks. Oh wow, very helpful. Just connected some dots for me. Oh, thanks for saying so, sweetie. Amber, you get what I'm saying, eh? Yeah. Yeah. Exactly, Amber. How just getting up every day can be enough, all on its own. Yes. I said this to somebody years and years and years ago, where we do give our 100% every day. Someday our 100% moves mountains. It manifests a business. You know what I mean? And someday our 100% is just breathing. That's it. Just breathing. And it might sound like what? But yeah, you know what I mean? Just being able to gasp for breath that day is your 100%. And it's okay. It's okay. Because by taking that day and not feeling guilty or shamed, or that you're being lazy, and just allowing yourself to breathe, then you can actually come into a true breath, so that the next day or the week after, or maybe it might take a month, then you pivot and you're like, whoa, in creator mode. But we're all stepping out of the rat wheel race feeling of human doings, right? We're here to be. And sometimes when we listen or to certain things, it's like, how do people do all of this and all of that? And it's like, we're just barely breathing right now. And so those people that show up and say, I'm just barely breathing right now, how important it can be to be that reflection sometimes, right? For real. That's why I gravitate towards smaller channels, because there's not so much editing, scripting. They're just showing up with whatever it is they're guided to. I prefer to watch a video about somebody's dog in their backyard running around than to listen to somebody trying to tell me certain things, where it's like, you're not even there yet. You're really good at talking, you're a fucking trained hypnotist, but I know you're not there yet. I know we're not, no one of us is there yet, because otherwise we wouldn't be doing certain things. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm not here to make sense. Take what resonates and leave the rest. Mr. Hugh, we have to stand on our own 2 feet. It's part of life. Yes, but we're here to help others stand on their own 2 feet as well, Mr. Hugh. Right? Some days we're just not the strong one rowing. Somebody else is rowing. It's okay. Right? I use rowing as an example. If you've ever canoed, yeah, you can be in tandem for fucking hours canoeing. But at one point, one person's going to sit back and have a snack, eat. And somebody else's rowing is towing the load more. Right? So that's why when I speak from the perspective of some of us are so fucking isolated, there's nobody rowing for us. When we stop rowing, nobody else is rowing, right? Earlier when Nigel was here, from the masculine father caregiver perspective alone, it ain't easy being fucking cheesy on our own if we can't, like Nigel said earlier, when he was in the hospital, it's because his other boys stepped up, that everything didn't go to, right? The other boys, because he has a 26-year-old that's local, was able to step up so that he could be in the hospital and live what he had to live for his own body. It is important, Amber. The inner dependence, yes. The inner dependence. It's not codependent to have friends that we reach out to and tell what we feel a certain way. It's trusting them by being open and not saying, everything's fine, but then you're secretly dying inside. Telling the truth to the people in our life that, are our anchors, are, right? You know what I'm saying, Mr. Hugh? Yeah, exactly. Renee, I love it. Thank you. Go to the sea. Number 7. To the sea. Being in flow. Returning to source. Recognizing how pieces fit together. A natural pattern of events. Isn't it wonderful when you feel yourself in the flow of life? When events and conditions seem to engage you in a way that is fluid and effortless. This card reminds you that going with the flow is exactly what you need to do right now. Ride the wave of opportunity formed by the perfect conditions. Allow trust and faith to guide you forward as you flow like a river into the sea of life. There are points in a relationship when you have to decide to go with the flow rather than dictating the course you share with another. Can you let go of the need to have things your way and allow the relationship itself, your combined goals and desires, to steer the ship? Can you both transcend your personalities and allow a partnership to form on its own identity, its own energy? Now's the time to relax and see where the mutual journey leads. And the protection message. When external conditions appear to block every attempt to move forward, there is no hidden message for you to decipher. Like the ocean, the tides of experience ebb and flow. You are in a natural cycle, so know that things will flow again in due course. There's no cause for alarm. Stop resisting and fighting against the situation and learn to flow, even when the tide is going out. Trust, relax in the abundance that will soon be within reach again. An ancient mariner saying applies to you now. When fishermen cannot go to sea, they stay home and repair their nets. Right? Mr. Hugh, if I could help anyone in this world, I would help. This world has changed in the last 5 years. I think it's showing its truest colors. And although what we can see from certain perspective looks like it's the darkest days, when we look and then become. Even just this, right? Mr. Hugh, you participate here in this live stream, and then I know you go into Allie's stuff, and you know what I mean? If you can, from the perspective of somebody who's in the country that you are, then you know that Allie exists in America and I exist here in Canada. Doesn't that give you a little hope that everything's not the way that it just looks on the exterior, right? And I'm just using me and Allie, as one example, but we're not done, right? We're not giving up, and we are what we are. That's real. I'm gonna pull a couple or one, I'm not too sure. I do want to be done. I can feel myself basically like salivating. Nice drooling for my soup. He's drooling for my soup. I am what I am. Popeye. Yam. Rar, Pacheteer. This merges well with the spider, not the spider, excuse me, the snake, the shedding of the skin, Apacheteer. I sent some Apacheteers to Annie. I forgot about that. Number 5, Apacheteer. Letting go of grief, recovering from the past, releasing pain so old wounds can heal. Before we came into this planet, our souls agreed to experience both love and loss in this lifetime, along with the pleasures and the pains of being in our body, so that we might experience a sense of purpose and fulfillment to find our destiny. Hi, Nova. Nova, what is grief if not love persevering? Exactly. That gave me shivers, sweetie. There's a great beauty in being broke open, for a heart that has fully expanded with grief is one that can truly understand that rejection is God's protection. Faithing something better coming our way will set the wheels in motion for attracting that which we most deserve. Often we simply cannot recognize there's a far better plan at work than our own. Message of Apacheteers to not fear or repress our emotions. Release them through our bodies so we can prepare ourselves to heal from the heartache and receive all that the conscious universe has in store for our pleasure and happiness. And always remember, you will see this through a different set of eyes one day. Loves you, Nova. I'm just ending the stream, sweetie. Your food on Instagram has made me drool in the last 24 hours. Just saying. Good job, honey. Lapis lazuli. Card number 30. Spiritual truth, enlightenment, meditation, unity, consciousness, inner vision. What you seek is here. If you push aside the distractions and fears created by your ego and you become silent, tune in and phone home to the conscious universe, the source of all love, strength, and wisdom. The law of non-locality ensures that you can gain whatever you need that is hidden from you when your mind is in a non-ordinary state of thinking and perceiving. You can achieve this through the practice of meditation and prayer. Reconnect with the conscious universe now. That's the message of this crystal. You are overdue for a renewal of your spiritual alignment. Lapis lazuli spirit also brings a reminder that your mind is a microcosm of the universal consciousness. You always have access to the conscious universe through the channel of your authentic self. Self. Enlightenment comes when you go within and you open up to the light that is all around you and within you. Epiphanies abound when you quiet your chattering mind and tune into the higher mind, where ideas beyond your current grasp flow easily, readily for you to access them. And third, I just guided the Apache tear, lapis lazuli, and whatever this third crystal is. Always remember, you don't actually have to own a crystal to tap into its energy or its power. You can just think about it. You can use an image as a screenshot. Go Google a couple pictures if you need to visualize, but you don't have to have it, right? A tool is a tool, and we can't all own every single thing ever, but we can tap into its energy. And card number 14, carnelian. So the black of the Apache tear, the blue of the lapis lazuli, and the red garnet color of carnelian. Black, red, blue. That stands out as Y. 3 cards, 3 crystals to end the stream. 14, carnelian. Increased confidence, dignity, poise, and self-assurance. Rising above the fray is much easier when you feel confident in your strength and know that the conscious universe is lighting the path for you. There is no shame in feeling unsure as you leave behind the unfamiliar, and Carnelian Spirit is here to help you grow your confidence so that you can experience dignity and poise even when it is clear that you are imperfect and not completely certain of what step is next to take. That's important because people are so busy sometimes waiting till they're perfect to share themselves. And it's like, guess what? If you knew your tone, your cadence, your strumming the guitar that you're just learning how to play could help out one other person, would you care? Would you share? If you knew, if you could look down and know that you're meant to text somebody, email somebody, call them up and say whatever it is you're meant to say, and then this is the timeline that's going to pivot you into your highest you that you've ever been, would you still be waiting to be perfect, or would you just do it? If I had waited to be perfect, I still wouldn't have started my YouTube channel, right? I don't have a certain direction. I don't have merch. I don't have a business. This is still my job and my purpose and my mission. It's not perfect. It's just flow. If I didn't trust myself to show up in the last 2 hours or whatever 4 hours I've been here, whoever said that clearly said it, and whoever hasn't said it that said I needed that card or I needed what I said, I wouldn't have showed up. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up, right? There's so much newness that we crave and that we're ready for. And often it's the silent observers in the background or the ones who have never watched a YouTube video or a YouTube live stream, and then all of a sudden, today, tomorrow, next week, why am I guided to that? And boom, right? One thing's for sure, when you're playing small, there's a part of you that knows you are, and using the I'm shy, or I don't belong. I'm a lone wolf. I don't belong here on this planet. I belong up there. And so you keep looking up for a ship to come down for you. You wouldn't be here if you didn't belong here. Right? You have come so far and grown so much. So give yourself the credit and know that you make the best decisions for the good of the all when you feel self-assured. And one of the only ways to actually feel self-assured is to jump into the fray and to find the reflections, right? If you're 30-something years old and in your reality, Your brother told you suck, you can't play guitar. Your sister told you your voice, oh my God, stop singing, I can't stand you. But then all of a sudden you show yourself to someone who's like, whoa, I got shivers everywhere, man, that was awesome. And then at first you're going to be like, what? No, I'm not awesome. I've been told forever I'm not. But who are you going to listen to? Right? The new people coming in? It's like me. I would do vids and I would cry, and then somebody would either write in a comment or email me, I needed that. And I'd be like, what? I didn't like saying that. I felt vulnerable. I felt exposed. I felt stupid. But then that one person would say or tell me that's what I needed, you know? And so it takes away the trying to be perfect and the just allowing the flow, you know? Anyways, you're awake and alert, heeding the signs that guide you on your healing path, so hold your head high. Carnelian is a stone of confidence, courage, and action. Fantastic for those who are prone to procrastination or have difficulty gathering the courage to take the first step. Carnelian lights a fire in your belly and other uncomfortable places, and it pulls you up by the bootstraps, and it says, let's go for it. And as beautiful as all these crystals are, you can be sitting in a bed of carnelian, and that's not what's actually going to give you the courage. You have to, right? You have to make the move. I be live in the you and the o with breathing. Roar. Okay, so this is just how, boom, I'm done. I'm ending it. I've been saying for a while the live stream is over. I'm not really good at goodbyes because it's like, hey, I'll see you later, alligators. Thank you for showing up. And that's all I got. That's all she wrote.